Welcome, everybody, to the Kevin Bannon Show. I'm Dave Sims. Good to have you with us as we talk about the ins and outs of Rutgers basketball. Kevin Bannon with us right now. And Kevin, 6-1 is your start right now, coming off the Wednesday win against St. Joseph's. Talk about what has been so successful. What has been the main ingredient?
Well, I think we have good chemistry. The guys genuinely enjoy playing together. I think they've accepted their roles for very early in the season. And I think you throw all the X's and O's out of the mix, I think we're further along because they just enjoy going out and competing together. Makes it
real important, no question about it. Let's take a look back at the Wednesday highlights at the Palestra, always one of the tough places to play coming into the city of Philadelphia. And how about Jeff Greer? Off to the good start, #2 scorer on your ball club.
Done a great job for us, inside and outside. There you see Rashad getting double-teamed in the post and feeding Eugene Dabney. We got off to a nice start in this game.
Defensively, too, Dabney provides some shot blocking for you.
Yeah, it makes a difference, something we haven't had in the past.
Ronaldo Brown getting to the bucket there. And how about Dahntay Jones? His game seems to have been well-rounded coming into this season.
Well, Dahntay's worked hard over the summer. Right now, he's made more threes this year in 7 games than he did all of last year.
Nice inside pass here by Kent to Salvin.
Well, that's, again, Rashad's earned the respect of our opponents, so he has to learn how to pass when he gets the double team, and he's really done a great job with that.
You see Dahntay Jones go down his bump by Marvin O'Connor. How physical a game was it?
It was pretty darn physical for an early December game. We went after each other pretty good.
And Rashad Kent, the slimmed down Mr. Kent, dominating inside.
Well, we need that balance. You know, I think we have a strong perimeter game, and the more we can get around the basket, it's really going to help us.
Works real well, Dahntay Jones. That's quintessential Jones as he gets to the hoop there. And he played a heck of a game. In 37 minutes, finished with 19 points and 9 rebounds. You got to like that kind of productivity.
Yeah, he's on a roll right now. He's doing a great job. Anything he can bring to the table, he's bringing it right now.
Last Saturday, Scarlet Knights took on the University of Maryland, Baltimore County at the rack. And Greer with the shot, Dahntay Jones with the follow.
He shows all the things he can do. We just saw him hit threes and slash, and here he is with an offensive rebound dunk. So Dahntay can do it all.
At this early stage in the season, have you had more open floor opportunities maybe since in all the time you've been here?
No, I think that's another point. We have very good team quickness. Even our big guys really get out and run. And the one thing that I'm very pleased, our defense, we're scoring off of our defense, which really takes the pressure off the guys in the half court.
Big play right there is Jones has a 4-point opportunity. And here in the post, the defense works again.
Well, Jeff Greer is just so active and so quick, and he does a good job of leading our break. Again, Dahntay on the other end.
Dahntay is so active, and I know talking to him before your Rider game, talked about how he shot 500 jumpers a day, and Greer very explosive there too.
Yeah, well, they're our bread and butter. I mean, we have very good wing players, so when we get inside production to go with those wing players, that makes us pretty special.
And Rutgers with the win over Tom Sullivan's UMBC ball club by the final of 65-48.
It was nice. I mean, they really challenged us. They're a team that's going to do quite well in their league, and I think our guys responded well to everything they threw at us.
Defensively, good attack there by Greer.
Yeah, you're pretty athletic at those spots, so Jeff and Dahntay play at both ends of the court, and here you see the quickness of our big man. Dabney comes down and fills the lane.
Very impressive. 65-48 the final as Rutgers knocks off UMBC last Saturday. Star of the game was Jeff Greer. Shot it pretty well, 7 of 15, finished with 17 points. Didn't get to the line a whole lot, though.
Well, he will. I mean, Jeff Greer is a guy that kind of sees what comes to him. He's our captain, and in that particular game, we saw a lot of zone, so he really didn't get inside that much.
You seen a lot of zone during the course of the season?
We haven't seen a lot because, you know, I think we're one of the top 3-point shooting teams in the Big East right now with Todd Billett, Jeff Greer, and Dahntay all shooting well above 40% from 3.
Terrific. Let's take a look at the Bannon breakdown as we continue here on our program. And Kevin's breakdown goes like this.
Well, speaking of zone, this is a point in the game where UMBC switches from a man to a zone. Eugene Dabney from the center spot comes out and realizes it gets us into our zone offense. And, you know, it's just a slight adjustment, but we make the zone move, and we get ourselves an open shot for Dahntay. So right here, we realize that they've switched their defense on us. You see Eugene directing traffic, which is a pretty nice thing to see for a freshman center. Todd Billett adjusts us. We go to a little 4-out set. and Todd gets the defense moving, but you have to respect him because he's a good shooter. So the zone rotates over to Todd's side, and then Eugene comes out and swings the ball, and Dahntay gets a little bit of daylight, and that's where he's taken his game to the next level. He knocks it down from 3.
Really changed the form on his delivery of his jump shot for this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's you know how anything you want to improve, it's mechanics and it's repetition to form a new habit, and he deserves a lot of credit because he changed it, and then he shot hundreds and hundreds of shots over the summer.
That's great, and I tell you what, that is a terrific example as we look at Kevin Bannon's breakdown. Coming up, as we continue on our program, the Princeton Tigers are next up on the schedule. We'll take a look at some of their personnel coming up right next on the Kevin Bannon Show. Welcome back, everybody, to the Kevin Bannon Show. I'm Dave Sims, and time now to look ahead, upcoming schedule for the Rutgers Scarlet Knights as we wrap up the 1999 December's portion of the schedule. The Princeton Tigers, always tough, struggling right now at 3-4. Kev, tell us a little bit about them.
Well, I mean, they're not short on talent. They've just played a very difficult schedule, and their young players are going to have to take a little bit of time to get their great system down. So they're a scary team and a team that's destined to be in the postseason again. It's just that there's a little bit of bumps in the road here early in the schedule.
It's interesting you talk about them being a system team. You think about systems, you think of Temple, you think of Princeton right off the bat in this immediate area.
Yeah, there's no question. I mean, I just think that I have so much respect for Princeton's program overall. I mean, the names and the faces change, but the success is there every single year. A murderous team to plan for, just so well coached, and they play with so much confidence. And, you know, it's going to be a tough game, whether it's down there or we're lucky it's in the rack. Tough game, always a difficult game on your schedule.
Take a look at some of the personnel on the Princeton Tigers. Bill Carmody got an interesting ball club again, and as usual, a good center in the middle anchors this ball club.
Yeah, I mean, with their system, I mean, anytime you can get the ball inside, you have to get respect and to open up the three-point shooting. And Chris Young is just going to be one of the best centers to ever put on a Princeton uniform. He's a terrific player, and it all evolves around him. And as of now, they haven't shot the ball the way traditionally a Princeton team does, but these kids are all capable of doing that. It's just a matter of time.
There's Ahmed El-Nakali and C.J. Chapman battling some injuries right now, but he certainly proved himself capable last year at the Rainbow Tournament, knocking down a lot of big shots to come away with a victory in that tournament. Give us an idea of some keys that you guys have to come up with to beat Princeton.
Well, the first thing is, we don't change our style that much for anyone. We really like to get after people, so we want to limit their three-point looks. Some people's philosophy is to pack it in against Princeton because they're so worried about getting backdoored, but we want to go out after them and take away their three-point looks. The second thing would be our defensive toughness and patience. By that I mean you got to play the whole possession, because Princeton's going to make you play the whole possession. And if you have one guy that breaks down during that time, they're going to burn you because they're just so good at their system. So, and the last thing I'd say is we can't fall in love with our jump shots. They play very, very good defense. I think that they're very much underappreciated for their defense. And we just can't throw it around and launch threes ourselves. We have to get a nice balance of inside-outside.
Do you find that, too, when you play Princeton, sometimes it's to your advantage to try to, if you will, out-physical them?
Well, I think you have to try, but I mean, it's not that easy to do. I mean, they cut so well and they move the ball so well. You know, so many teams spend a lot of time with the ball on the floor. You won't see Princeton kids doing a lot of dribbling, so it's not an easy team to play physical against.
Interesting. The series history has been pretty much in the favor of the Princeton Tigers, although, Kevin, you've had some success. You split on your opposing courts the last 2 years.
It's a great rivalry, and, you know, anything goes. I'd like to think that we've come a long way with our program, and certainly I spoke before about Princeton's excellence, and I just look for a different kind of war than St. Joe's in the sense that it's a different style. But, you know, let's not kid ourselves. It's a good rivalry, and we're going to go after each other pretty good. Should be interesting. Let's take a look at our Tucker Anthony board. Tucker Anthony, of course, the official investment firm of the Big East. They donate $150 to Rutgers General Scholarship Fund for each three-pointer made this season, and 42 threes at this point. That's a good number, $6,300 before we get to the turn of the calendar. Not bad. Well, whatever our guys' motivation is to make threes, whatever it is, they're making them right now, so I hope they keep it up. You bet. 42 three-pointers at this stage. That's impressive. When we come back, we'll talk to Alvidas Tanis, talk about what he's doing this year to help Rutgers become a real successful program in the Big East Conference. We're back with more right after this. Guest segment here on the Kevin Bannon Show, everybody, and Alvidas Tanis joins us, the senior center
whose role this year is a little bit different. He's coming off the bench for Kevin Bannon's ball club. And V, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Talk about the new role. How's it? Are you comfortable coming in off the bench now as opposed to starting?
Yeah, definitely. It's a different year for me, compared to last year. You know, I'm coming out from the bench, and I feel really comfortable with that role.
How's he playing so far, Kev?
He's playing great. I mean, and we talked earlier in the show about all these guys accepting their roles, and I think Alvidas has really done a great job of coming off the bench and not so much trying to be a scorer, just take that as it comes, but be a rebounder and play physically and give us a little bit of leadership, because he has been in the program now 3 years, and he's really done that well.
That's great. You a lot more comfortable in your game offensively right now?
Yeah, definitely. I feel comfortable now because it's my last year. You know, I got enjoy to play basketball now. I'm never gonna have another opportunity to play college ball. You know, and now I can say that I really enjoy that.
How would you sum up your whole experience being over here in the States playing at Rutgers?
I mean, it's a great experience for me. You know, I definitely became a tougher person. You know, and every year it's more and more easy for me, you know, and especially now this year, as I mentioned before, I feel much comfortable.
That's great. Let's take a look at Alvidas in action in some of these early games for the Scarlet Knights. Kev, you got to like what you see in terms of the mobility.
Well, he's definitely improved his low post game, but we're trying not to, worry so much about that. I think in the past when V didn't score, he got really upset, and I think other parts of his game suffered. And right now, I think he kind of looked right here. He can't believe it. He knocks the guy to the ground, and then he worries. He wonders why he got a call on him. He understands the game much better, and I think he's accepting his playing a little more physically, and he's a bright guy. And I just think he's done a wonderful job of adapting to our system.
So many big people in the Big East this year. You're going to see. I got to believe you're going to see a lot of time.
Yeah, definitely. I'm really excited. Because we're gonna play Big East games in less than a month. So the guys like Ethan Thomas and other centers, it's really fun.
Yeah,
fun to play, and I'm really excited.
I think at Georgetown, Watkins and Boomche. They got some big people. Connecticut's got some big guys too. It's going to be a challenge.
Well, and that's where Alvidas can help us, because I'm really again excited about our young players, but they don't know what's around the corner, and he does.
Yeah.
And he can let them know, hey, there's some real good physical players in our league, and he's going to have to help us with that by pulling his weight, but also by helping the other kids get prepared.
Take a look at our Monster Slam of the week, and it brought to you here on the Kevin Bannon Show. And this week's Monster Slam, take a look. It's a breakout, Greer, and puts a little extra on it. Nicely done by Jeff Greer. MonsterSlam.com brings you today's Monster Slam here on the Kevin Bannon Show. We're back here talking with Alvidas Tenise and Kevin Bannon. And the biggest adjustment for you coming from Lithuania to this country, the language had to be #1, right?
Yeah, definitely. I had this language barrier, and it was really hard. But I think adjust to the food and to the culture was my
What's wrong with the food?
I mean, the food was good. Now, I'm starting eating McDonald's every day. It's kind of you know. But anyways, I feel good now. You know what I'm saying, about myself. And
I got a question for you concerning with the holidays coming up. Is there a difference in Christmas time? I mean, do people in Lithuania, Christmas trees, Christmas lights, all those kinds of things?
Yeah, we have Christmas trees in Lithuania too, But I think a major difference is that the coaches in Lithuania giving a presents to basketball players. Here, in the United States, I don't know, I haven't get anything from my coach.
It's called NCAA rules, B. It's not because I'm not a generous guy. It's just NCAA rules. I'm sorry.
Right. Maybe he can give it to you in the form of minutes played.
There you go.
I think that'd probably be your best bet, right?
All right.
All right. Hey, who are your heroes growing up, basketball heroes? Anybody we would be familiar with over here?
Yeah, definitely. Sabonis is the best European player ever, and he just I like his passes and stuff. So he's a really good guy. He's a good player.
A lot of subtleties to Sabonis' game. That's the thing. I see the highlights from Portland. I mean, he can pass it from behind his back. He sees everything. His vision is terrific.
It would have been nice to see him play in the NBA when he was really in his prime. He's quite an effective player right now, but in his prime, I think he would have been an NBA All-Star, don't you think?
Yeah, definitely.
Alvedis, good to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank
Continued
you.
success. We'll be back to wrap things up here on the Kevin Bannon Show right after this timeout. You here on the Kevin Bannon Show. I'm Dave Sims, and right now time for the Scarlet Spotlight. It's brought to you by the Rutgers Court Club, and let's take a look at this week's highlight.
Hi, I'm Dahntay Jones. I'm a 6'5" sophomore guard from Hamilton Square, New Jersey, and I play for Rutgers University. I decided to come to Rutgers for the unique coaching staff, the great conference, the great university, in which academically and athletically. We're a more close-knit team than last year. We're going to run the floor real well. We're more athletic than last year, with a lot of big men who are very versatile. Musically, I like rap, R&B, I like a little jazz, and right now I don't have a favorite. I just like to listen to a lot of different things. My favorite food is a cheeseburger. Why? Because I've been just eating it all my life, and just as a little kid, just had formed to have it.
So cheeseburger, pretty classic food for a college student, right?
Whatever he's eating, just keep eating it because he's playing really well right now.
We talked about earlier in the show about his work ethic and what he's done to remake the jump shot. I think people around the league are really going to be surprised at how well now that you got to guard him now when he catches the ball in the perimeter.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of kids talk about, they know what they have to do, but there's only a few of them that go out and do it. And Dahntay had just a phenomenal summer, put in an awful big amount of time, weight room, shooting threes, and doing the things that he needs to do, and already, we're just a little bit into the season, and you can see a huge difference in.
The other thing too, it makes your job easier too in terms of having him as an example in terms of what he did with his body and with redeveloping the jump shot.
Well, and if you take it a step further, Dahntay's a guy that was accepted at universities like Vanderbilt and Stanford and Virginia and Notre Dame, and this is a kid that stayed home to play in our program at the State University. And, he brings, there's not an area that he doesn't excel at, the classroom, leadership, just being generally a good, friendly person. And then on top of that, the work ethic in regards to his body and basketball. So, what a perfect guy to build a program around.
Oh, no question about it. That is a huge plus to have a guy like Dahntay Jones in your program. Time now for a look around the Big East Conference, and it's brought to you by New Jersey Transit.
Three straight 30-point games as Pepenis works the baseline.
Seton Hall playing down against George Washington. Tommy Penders, familiar face here in this area. And this was last Saturday at the MCI Center. Look at Tommy Amaker.
Transition.
The Hall had some difficulties here, and look at the numbers at GW. 4-on-1 on that fast break.
Well, GW, I think, surprised everybody in that tournament, really played at a high level, and the Hall was kind of away for the first time. And, they're trying to find themselves, but I think it was much like our games with St. Joe's, went after each other pretty good and just, didn't find a way to come up with the victory.
GW went on to win this tournament, knocking off their local rival, the University of Maryland. And, GW trying to make a statement that they will be a force in the Atlantic 10. That was Francisco de Miranda from Brazil, and pretty effective player in his final year. And a win for George Washington over Seton Hall. How about Monday? Villanova playing at UMass. Villanova in the road blue. And the Wildcats were in pretty good shape until Allen and Lynch got into foul trouble in the second half.
Well, we're all going through that right now. We're trying to get some good, young, talented players indoctrinated into our systems and learning their roles, etc. And Villanova's no different. When they put their top 5, 6 guys out there, they're one of the top teams in our league. But when they have to go to their bench, it's just going to take a little time. Yeah.
And Monty Mack, of course, a big part of the success. He and Chris Kirkland for Bruiser Flint's ball club. The latter stage of this game was pretty wild. Villanova came down. Steve Lappis's club needed a 3 to tie, and they had one of their freshmen put one up. That's Brian Lynch. This is about 4 minutes to go. And we'll take a look at that as UMass came back into the games. We talked about two Villanova key players. Here's the big one that wins it. Shannon Crooks, who used to be at St. John's. That is a huge bucket. Now look at the freshman here. Steps inside the line. Thought he stepped back far enough. Didn't go. Shot went, but it was a 3. Bruiser got what he wanted. It was a 2. And Steve Lapis can't believe it. Cannot believe it. That's a disheartening loss. I mean, because that shot should have tied the ball game.
Well, that's some of the things that you learn. You know, that's going to be something that goes away after time. That's why you play games in December, and that's why freshmen become sophomores and juniors.
Grade 8 tournament in Chicago. UConn Huskies, tell you what, they showed some depth all-around play. Khalid Al-Amin led the way against a real good Arizona ball club. But I tell you what, Connecticut had a well-rounded game. They were physical. Jake Voskuhl hit a big shot here late in the game with about $1:30 to go. Put them up by 8. And then Albert Mooring, he shot the ball well from the 2 spot, and that was an exclamation point. That was a fabulous play right there. Edmund Saunders. And Connecticut with a 78-69 win over Arizona.
Very impressive. I mean, Connecticut's legitimate repeat contender. I mean, they're that good. A great system, and the guys, great recruiting class, and I think they're a little bit on a mission right now. I don't think they like to see their national ranking. They feel they should be higher, and I really don't like watching them play. They scare me. So yeah. I'm glad we play them last game of the year. I'm going to think about them a long time from now.
They are really good, and it's going to be one heck of a headache as you prepare for them. Let's take a look at the standings in the Big East Conference. Obviously, conference play has not started yet. It'll start in January. But the Big East making a good account of itself with Syracuse 7-0, Connecticut with the 1 loss to Iowa, and Rutgers right there as well. In the middle of the pack, teams are holding their own, and so far nobody with a losing record. We'll take a break and come back for final comments here on the Kevin Bannon Show right after these messages. The Kevin Bannon Show. You know, for more information on Rutgers athletics, here is the address on the internet, athletics.rutgers.edu. Now, Kev, as you get ready for Princeton, what's one thing that goes through your mind? I mean, Princeton's always a difficult ball club to take on.
Well, I'm excited about the challenge for our guys. I mean, with a young team, you know, each and every team presents their challenges. Princeton's a very unique situation. Do we have the kind of discipline at both ends of the court that's necessary to hang with or beat a good Princeton team? And we'll see. You know, it's really going to be a nice test for our guys.
I think the key word there you use is discipline, because it's you know, when you play at Temple, you play at Princeton. They don't play like anybody else. Samford, those kind of folks are, you know, few and far between. So discipline is really key. Kev, good to see you. Good luck in your upcoming games.
It was great you were here, Dave.
All right, thank you very much. Good to be here, sitting in for Bruce Beck. I'm Dave Sims. We'll see you next time, everybody, here on the Kevin Bannon Show.
Is News 12 New Jersey. We're closer to you.
Tonight, I think we, you know, a lot of the things that we've had, you know, really weren't there. And every time I say that, I have to say, because we played a good team.
Well, tonight that good team was Princeton. Rutgers and the Tigers. Great New Jersey rivalry. Every season since World War II, they have played, except once. The latest installment, I'll tell you, was one of the best. Bill Carmody brought his guys into the rack tonight, and the one fella he's glad he brought with him, Mason Roca. Mason absolutely having his way inside today with the Knights. 28 points for him. Princeton was up at the half, but here come the Knights. Off the miss, Rashad Kent nearly brought down the roof. Rutgers gets back in this thing, only to see Princeton start to pull away yet again. Just not the Tigers without those backdoor cuts. Roca puts it home here. Princeton was up 8 with 8 minutes left. Not over, though. Dahntay Jones shot Rutgers right back in this thing. 27 points for Dahntay tonight. We are tied, and RU had a chance. Final seconds, tie game. Jeff Greer, you can win this thing. But he missed, so we're going to play an extra 5 minutes. Overtime, though, was Tiger time. Loose ball, and Ahmed El Nakali is up ahead of everybody. The easy bucket, and then the killer in the final minute. Look at the pass to Chris Young right here. Tigers were crafty tonight. They leave the rack with a 66-60 win. Princeton beat Rutgers, and News 12's Gary Napoli has the reaction.
The 105th meeting between the New Jersey rivals gave Princeton a thrilling 71st win in the series and ended Rutgers' 4-game win streak this season.
Princeton executed their offense very well tonight, and we didn't have composure down the stretch, and they made plays and we didn't.
Could have gone either way. It was a battle. We stuck in there and we fought hard. It was a complete team effort and we pulled it out. It's a great win for us.
With hard-working Mason Rocker on the bench nursing a groin injury, the Tigers began the season with a disappointing 1-3 record. Since his return, Princeton has bounced back, winning 4 of 5 behind their 6'9" senior forward, who's proven to be both a force offensively and off the boards.
He just goes after the ball. I mean, he throws his whole body in there. I mean, you see him, he comes back, he's banged up, but I mean, he's constantly in there banging, just going after the ball and throwing his body and diving.
He just plows ahead and sort of energizes them and makes them a little tougher, I think.
Despite the loss, the Scarlet Knights and their dynamic duo, Jeff Greer and Dahntay Jones, have been an exciting team to watch. Jones, a member of the Big East All-Rookie team last year, brings intensity on the defensive end and has developed into an explosive scorer.
This year, his good games are, in the 20s. Last year, they were in the teens, and, this year, he'll hit a number of threes. Last year, he only hit 11 or so for the whole year.
I'm more comfortable at defensive end, and I know my strengths. And offensively, I'm just making more shots than last year. I'm more confident, and I'm just working a little harder.
At Rutgers University, Gary Napoli, Jersey Sports Final.
So the Tigers have the bragging rights. A couple other, well, maybe it's Seton Hall's Shaheen Holloway, Princeton's Chris Young, or Mason Rocca. How about Rutgers' Dahntay Jones? He's certainly the best young player in the state. Dahntay's sophomore year is off to a great start. He's leading the Knights in scoring, over 17 points a game, and he's really developed a nice three-point shot as well, hitting 53% of his triples. The kid from Hamilton is stepping up.
I'm just trying to be there for my team to try to win a couple games. We've been in a couple scoring droughts, and I just try to step up and make some shots.
Dahntay just keeps getting better and better. This year his good games are, in the 20s. Last year they were in the teens, and, this year he'll hit a number of threes. Last year, he only hit 11 or so for the whole year. So he's just taken every aspect of everything about him is just taking a giant leap forward.
I'm more comfortable at defensive end, and I know my strengths. And offensively, I'm just making more shots than last year. I'm more confident, and I'm just working a little harder.
Coach Kevin Bannon would love to see him cut down on his turnovers, but Dahntay's really blossoming into a big-time player. One of the big reasons RU is off to such a good start.
Hi, everybody. I'm Bruce Beck. Welcome to the Kevin Bannon Show, coming from the Scarlet Knights locker room. And these are very special times for the Rutgers University basketball program. 2 big events over the next 2 weeks, the Jimmy V Classic and the ECAC Holiday Festival. And, Kevin, for the players, for the coach, for the fans, these are times I think you really cherish.
Oh, absolutely. I think, your conference schedule is, the meat and potatoes of your schedule, but to play in special events and have your players go to the Garden at Christmas time and to play in the great Jimmy V Classic. I mean, these are really things that kids are going to remember the rest of their lives.
I remember as kids we used to spend a lot of time at that ECAC Holiday Festival.
Oh, yeah, some great memories, going in there, taking, I think it was the 33 bus down Bloomfield Avenue and sneaking into the Garden over the holidays watching some great basketball.
I took the 77 from Livingston, by the way. All right, let's look back at Rutgers action from this past week. First of all, against the Princeton Tigers in a game that was oh so close and played with intensity. And Coach, when you get together with the Tigers, you know it's going to be a barn burner.
Well, it's a great rivalry, and we have great respect for their program. And we're a young team, and they just played terrific defense and really kept us off balance. And I think that was the difference.
Mason Rocca was outstanding, Coach. 28 points, 13 rebounds.
Well, they have a great 1-2 combination in Young and Rocca had just probably a career game. Just played so well in the paint, played physical. We couldn't stop him.
Tigers up at the half by a score of 29-25 on a questionable call just before halftime, but that's the way this game was played. A lot of turnovers, a lot of banging. You would expect spirited play between these two ball clubs.
Yeah, we went after each other pretty good. There was a couple of controversial things there, but the nice thing is the players played, and you know, it was a very entertaining game for all.
And in the second half, Dahntay Jones really opened up from trifecta land.
Well, Dahntay's just been shooting the ball so well. It's what he needed to do over the summer, and boy, oh boy, is it paying off. He's just got a complete offensive game right now.
C.J. Chapman at 13. He hits a 3 here for the Tigers. Back comes Dahntay. Rutgers, 27 points in the game for Dahntay.
Yeah, Dahntay showed his whole arsenal there. He hit a couple deep threes, very good off the dribble. I mean, this thing really became a war down the stretch here.
Here's a big basket by Roca to tie the game at the end of regulation.
Yeah, Roca just broke our back all day, either a big rebound or a big basket.
And in overtime, the Tigers pull away. They win it by a final score of 66-60. And what a ball game it was for both ball clubs. Princeton winning their 4th straight game, and Rutgers not shooting it well for the field coach. Just 11 for 42 from two-point land. But how do you explain that? Dahntay Jones 10 for 16. The rest of the ball club struggled.
Yeah, the answer is better shots. Dahntay really did a great job. The rest of our guys struggled a bit offensively.
So Dahntay Jones finishes with 27 points. The bench, Princeton ends up with 15, Rutgers 2. You played a lot of guys, a lot of minutes.
Yeah, well, it was that the normal Rutgers-Princeton game is not as physical and up and down as this game was. It was an entertaining game, and our young team just couldn't find a way to get it done.
And down the road, this kid Roca is going to be a nice player, isn't he?
Oh, he's great. I mean, he was out with injuries. People look at their record. First of all, they've played a very tough schedule, and they played without him most of the season. So having him back, Princeton's really a tough opponent.
All right, this is a special time of the show because we talk Kevin into being the professor with Bannon's breakdown. This one talks all about movement without the ball, a little screening, and I really like the fact it ends up in a hoop. Kevin, lead us through.
They all end up in a hoop.
That's
nice.
right. You picked this stuff.
Well, this is just a little series off, just playing some motion offense. And the nice thing is players made good plays. You know, you want your players to read situations and do a good job instead of just doing everything off set plays. So right here, out of our motion offense, Renardo Brown, who comes in the game against St. Joe's here, gets us in our motion. We run a little cut here for Dahntay Jones. Joel Salvi comes out. Brown gets out of there to clear the area. Joel runs a little pick and roll with Dahntay, and they both do the right thing. Dahntay draws Joel's man, takes an extra dribble, gets him the ball. He had an open shot. Unselfishly, he gives up the jump shot because Eugene Dabney's man rotates over, and we get, you know, the chippy. We get the higher percentage shot, which you always want to see from your team.
And it was worked to perfection because you make the ball, get inside, and he makes the basket.
Yeah, I mean, now you can see it at regular speed. Just good reactions. You know, the players, not too much dribble, get the ball off the floor, find each other, and get yourself an open shot.
You know, you can talk all you want about the way you hope it works out, but to see it on the floor happen, do you ever sit back as a coach and say, hey, the stuff I taught these guys they're doing?
Well, I think it's more rewarding when they see it themselves. You know, you put them in situations in practice, and you try to get them to the point where they can recognize situations. And that time they did a great job of reading the defense, take what was presented, and we get a layup out of it.
Will we ever have a breakdown down the road where we don't get a hoop?
No, that was in the contract, remember?
I forget. Coming up next, who is Elon? We'll find out. Stay with us on the Kevin Bannon Show. In the Rutgers locker room, a lot of tape is watched here. And Kevin, your next opponent, Elon, from Elon, North Carolina. Name me the two cities it's between.
What?
Yes, this is a quick quiz question.
It's between Charlotte and Greensboro.
I'm sorry. It's Greensboro and Durham. You will not be a millionaire. But in any case, is it difficult to get ready for a ball club where there's less tape available, where teams don't see them that often?
It is difficult. I mean, I think you have to get your players to buy into and respect your opponent. And in this day and age, thank goodness you can get a lot of tape. And in Elon's case, I may not know their location as well as you, yes, but I do know the defenses they play and their personnel. They have a couple Jersey kids. Andy Toole, a great player from Christian Brothers Academy, played with Todd Billett. And I respect their team, just coming off a great win over Davidson. And they play a lot of different defenses, and they're very impressive. So the nice thing is I can put some tapes in there, and our guys can see that this is a team that's really up and coming in Division I.
Kevin's major was not geography, it was hoopology. Let's take a look at the upcoming schedule for the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers. It begins with Elon. Yes, they are the Fighting Christians out of the Big South, and that ball game will be here on Sunday at 7:30 p.m. at the Lewis Brown Athletic Center. And let's take a look at some highlights of Elon in action. And Kevin talked about a name you heard a little bit earlier, one of Billett's old running mates. The coach of this ball club is Mark Simmons, and he leads the team into the rack. Here's some highlights of this team. And Kevin, what do you expect? Because last year they were a little bit down, but they're getting better, and they're now competing in the Big South Conference.
They've added some size. They certainly have a bench that can play, and it all goes around Andy Toole, the fellow I just mentioned. Very, very good scorer. Had a great summer this year in the Jersey Shore League, and you know, he can light it up. They run some good stuff, very aggressive, and like I say, this is an up-and-coming team.
Morgan Bell is their center. He's averaging 6.5 points, 3.5 boards. Clint Walker, 8 points and 8 rebounds. Young man out of Antigua. And Andrew Toole averaging 4.4 points per ball game. Now, after Elon, the next game for the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers, Jimmy V Classic. It's against the Gators of Florida. They are good. Top 10 nationally right now.
Outstanding. I mean, Billy Donovan's put together a team that's really got great talent, great recruiting classes. The old Kentucky style, the run and the press and the shoot the threes. I mean, very difficult opponent, but a great challenge. That's the way we look at it. You know, we come from the Big East. We play a lot of good teams, and we look forward to this kind of challenge, and it's great to play in the Jimmy V Classic.
All right, let's go back to Elon for just a moment now and talk about Kevin's keys for this ball game coming up this weekend. One you want to have.
Well, limit Toole's looks. This is a young man that can really score the basketball. 28 against Davidson. So Dahntay Jones will draw his assignment and try to keep him under control. After that, we want to try to contain their dribble penetration. They're a perimeter-oriented team, but do some very good things in transition and off the dribble, so we got to stay in front of them. And then we just have to do a good job of handling their switching defenses. They'll play 2 different presses and probably 4 different half-court defenses. So Todd Billett's got to recognize the defense and talk to his teammates.
All right, what about Florida?
Well, handling their pressure, that's Kentucky, you know, style, run and jump you and get you to play quickly. So good composure early in the game, definitely first.
They've got great depth overall.
Yeah, and, you know, a lot of guys that can score. We have 4 players that have gotten 20-plus for us this year. They probably have about 7 or 8 that could do that on a given night. So get back on defense. They can all score.
And number 3?
Well, they have a significant size and athleticism advantage on us, so we've got to keep them off the backboards.
All right, we talked about the Jimmy V Classic, and Kevin has a very nice history with Jimmy Valvano. Actually was recruited when you were a star for the Verona Hillbillies. He came down and wanted you to go to Bucknell, right?
Yeah, he was a very young coach at that time who had taken over the Bucknell program, and it was hard to say no to that guy. You know, I remember him coming to the Verona High School cafeteria and getting to know all the employees and just putting on a show. And what a wonderful guy. I got to know him even better when I went on to play at St. Peter's. He was then the head coach at Iona, so I knew him both as a player when I was a player and then as an assistant coach at St. Peter's. So got to know each other, you know, quite well, and I've gotten to know his family quite a bit through some of the various charities that we're involved with. He was a special guy, and, you know, and a Rutgers grad, and we're really happy to be involved in the Classic this year.
Jimmy Valvano, a man that many will remember for a long, long time. Jim Valvano was known as a fighter, both on and off the court. In 1983, he overcame great odds while coaching the North Carolina State Wolfpack to the NCAA championship. For the next several years, Jim's stature continued to grow, not only as a coach, but as a motivational speaker, captivating audiences around America. He went on to find still more success in the broadcasting industry, describing with passion the sport he loved, both on ABC and ESPN. Just as America became accustomed to the splendid insights, humor, and wit that was Jimmy V, we were shocked to learn that Jim had been diagnosed with cancer. The survival instincts that he had inspired in so many others would now become the daily chore of his day-to-day life. When Jimmy V passed away on April 28, 1993, his words of "never give up" were left to inspire countless admirers who continue to battle for a cure for this devastating disease. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. my favorite Valvano story, 8 for 8 against Southern Illinois in the Garden in the NIT. It was the semifinals, and he lit it up in the first half against a guy named Walt Clyde Frazier. But he certainly has served as an inspiration to so many others.
He really has, and I think the lesson that I've learned is just be yourself. I mean, that was never an act. That was his personality, and he was always just a wonderful, warm guy who really had a great sense of humor and really touched a lot of people's lives in a very positive way.
All right, let's talk a little bit about what Rutgers has accomplished this year. One of the things they've done extremely well is shoot the three-point field goal. They are currently ranked among the top 10 in the nation, number 8 overall, first in the Big East, and don't forget, it means money to the institution. Tucker Anthony, the official investment firm of the Big East, which is contributing $50 for each 3 made by the Scarlet Knights this season. Kevin, you're shooting it well, 51 for 124, and it all adds up to money for the General Scholarship Fund of the institution.
It's a great cause, and everyone around the Big East really appreciates Tucker Anthony's generosity, and it just happens to be a big part of our arsenal, so hopefully we'll bring in lots of bucks for the General Scholarship Fund.
Well, the guy who has really been lighting it up and been a key for the Scarlet Knights from three-point land is Dahntay Jones. He's our guest in just a moment on The Kevin Bannon Show. Kevin Bannon Show. It is time for the Scarlet Spot. 7 points against Princeton, 24 in the second half, and he leads the Scarlet Knights this year in scoring, averaging 17.8 points per ball game. He's sophomore Dahntay Jones, and he joins us right now on the Kevin Bannon Show. Nice to have you with us, Dahntay.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, you're shooting it great from three-point land this year. How much work did you put in over the summer?
I shot a lot of the summer just to improve my overall game and just get better as a player.
Kevin, last year, this guy made only 10 or 11 threes. Already this season, he's made 20 for 38. I mean, that's a tremendous movement.
Yep, he's over 50% right now with his threes. I think he's second in the Big East, and it's just a tribute to hard work. I mean, I've known Dahntay since he was a young knucklehead at my summer basketball camp.
Pup, huh?
Yeah, a little pup. And, you know, the best thing about Dahntay is his tremendous desire to excel. I mean, he'll do whatever it takes to be as good as he can be. And this summer, you know, he really worked hard, and it's already showing in his game.
Dahntay, when we think of you as a slasher, a guy who can go to the hoop. We think of your ferocious defense like you did last year against Jamel Thomas. But overall, is winning the thing that's paramount in your mind?
Yeah, overall, I'm going to try and do anything to win. I'm trying to play both ends of the floor to help my team get a win. I'm going to try and stop my man in any way possible and then try to be as active on offense as possible. So I'm just going to try to do whatever's necessary to get the win.
Has playing in the Big East helped your game, made you better as a ball player?
Yeah, one year in the Big East has just improved my confidence overall. It's just showed me what real basketball is like, and it's just it's a different game basically. It's a tougher game, and it's just helped me a lot.
Well, it says a lot about Dahntay. I mean, you see him, you know, some of the great things he can do on the court, but there's a lot of pressure on this guy. I mean, he came into our program, one of the first Jersey guys to stay home in my program, and I'm asking him to guard the best perimeter scorer. He's become our best scorer, and we've asked him to step out and hit threes, and whatever we ask, he does. And he's a great leader on the team, and he's just destined for greatness.
Dahntay, where's this ball club headed this season?
I think we had to do a lot of good things. Our main focus this year is to play defense and just be very active on the floor. And I think if we just keep doing that, we'll do pretty well this season.
You know, a lot of people talk about their idols, and it would easily be said that somebody would say Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant. And I looked down at your individual notes in the media guide and said your personal hero is your mom. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, my mom is just my everything. She's been there through everything. She's at every one of my games. She never misses one, and she's given me all the support I've needed so far in my life. So I appreciate everything she's done for me, and because she's always there for me.
Kevin, do you enjoy recruiting her?
Yeah. See, he's no dummy. She always comes to the games with these care packages.
Oh, very
that
nice.
Dahntay tries to hide from the rest of the team, you know, some nice home-cooked food. So he's no dummy. He picked the right person. She's a wonderful woman, and you can see a lot of her in Dahntay.
That's nice, Dahntay. All right, let's look ahead to the remainder of the season, because starting in January, you get the Big East slate going with 7 ball games in January alone, beginning with Syracuse. Is this team, this young ball club, ready for the challenge?
I think so. This year in the Big East, it's kind of wide open. You have UConn, who's real good, and Syracuse, real good. But I think you have a lot of teams that work hard and just play hard. I think we're one of those teams that can come up and surprise a lot of people. We're getting better and better every day, and I think if we just keep working hard, I think we'll do pretty well this season.
7 of 8 games this year in double figures for Dahntay Jones, 17.8 points per ball game, 4 rebounds, shooting 53% from trifecta land. Great start, but you got a lot of work to do. We wish you the best.
Thank you very much.
Dahntay Jones of the Scarlet Knights. All right, time for our MonsterSlam.com Monster Slam of the Week. I wonder if this one will have Dahntay in it or not. I'm not sure. Kevin, all right, take over.
Rashad Kent, 2. Oh, it's Joel Salvi.
Oh,
sorry, Dahntay.
Hey, Salvi's done a lot of exciting things throughout the season, and we know he's capable of coming up with a big jam.
Yeah, that was great. Good unselfishness on Rashad's part, and Joel had a great game down there at St. Joe's.
All right, well, Joel Salvi beats out Dahntay, but we still enjoyed having you on the set. And, Kev, when you look ahead to this kid's future, you see nothing but big things?
Sky's the limit. This is a guy that can definitely play at the next level. He keeps his head and everything in the right place, and with Dahntay, he'll be in the right place.
All right, a short break of the Kevin Bannon Show. Much more coming up, including a look around the Big East. Don't go away. Welcome back to the Kevin Bannon Show. It is time for the Scarlet Spotlight, which is brought to you by the Rutgers Court Club. Today's focus, Jeff Greer.
There's Todd Billett, highly recruited point guard, and Greer nets an 18-footer to put Rutgers on the board. And Jeff Greer.
Hi, I'm Jeff Greer, 6'5", junior shooting guard. My family and friends mean a lot to me, and I wanted them to come see me play. And plus, Coach Bannon and the program I thought was on the rise, so I decided to stay here and play in the Big East. And also a big factor was to play against my brother, Ricardo Greer, who's at Pitt. I think he's a great coach. He's a great motivator. I mean, he teaches very, very well in practice, and I think since I've been here, I've learned a lot, and he's guided me where I want to go. My favorite food is probably, I have to say, McDonald's chicken nuggets, because I don't even know, I just like the way it tastes.
I think I know where he has spent many of his meals, Coach.
He didn't have much time to think, in his defense. I've seen him wolf down a big plate of lasagna. He's got to like lasagna as much as chicken nuggets.
What a great kid, huh?
He's wonderful. He's our captain, so well respected on the team. Just really a great human being.
All right, it's time to go around the Big East as we look at some of the ball clubs from this past week. It's before conference play, and it's brought to you by the New Jersey Transit. All right, Coach, a lot of the teams in action in interconference games. And let's pick up, first of all, Seton Hall against Florida State.
Well, you always want to see the Big East teams knock off the ACC teams. Yeah. And Seton Hall, sure, not only they knock them off, it was convincing. It was a great win to go down there and get it done.
Shaheen Holloway had 13 points. Ty Shine also had 10. Darius Lane, 19. And Kevin Wilkins off the bench to add 13. So Tommy Amaker has to like the fact that a lot of guys are scoring.
Yeah, I think the good thing for Seton Hall is you've got the veterans that are doing a nice job. They do have a couple seniors there, but the newcomers are blending in quite well. And this, like I said, this is a great win. Florida State's struggling a bit, but hey, when you go down there and get a win on the road at ACC, that's huge.
79-56, the victory for the Seton Hall Pirates as they come away with the W. All right, let's move on to St. John's against DePaul. And this game, first we're going to go to UConn against Fordham. And this ball game, Coach Bob Hill going against Jim Calhoun. And Bob Hill did not have Bavon Robin, one of his key players, and it was really all UConn running and gunning.
Yeah, well, without Robin, that's a big difference. But hey, we're looking at the defending national championship. I don't know why Mr. Calhoun looks miserable time. They're loaded.
Khalid El-Amin in this game, 23 points, 8 assists. Jake Voskuhl, 18 points, 8 rebounds. Kevin Freeman, 16 and 6. UConn still looks loaded.
They do, and I think what you're seeing is Mooring and Saunders have taken the next step as players, and that's what you want in a program like UConn's. They were highly touted prospects that had to sit behind some people, and now they're just getting big minutes and really coming through.
And the Fordham Rams will be a team that you'll be involved with in the ECAC Holiday Festival. They'll be playing the other game. You might have a chance to see them in the final. Let's hope, Coach. St. John's against DePaul. We head to the Windy City, and this is a DePaul team that's been resurrected under Coach Pat Kennedy.
Yeah, Pat's done a great job, really increased the talent level, but he's coached them well, and they're having a great year. And, you know, St. John's played this game without Eric Barkley, and I thought they played extremely well. It was a real dogfight, but DePaul's really an outstanding basketball team.
And what about this kid, Quentin Richardson, who had 26 points and 12 boards? He looks like the real deal, one of the best players in America.
He is. He absolutely is. He's a big-time player, and he does it in a variety of ways, and, you know, he's going to be a great pro.
So DePaul had it going their way for much of the ball game. They go on to win it over St. John's. The final score, 71-65. St. John's obviously missing their point guard, Eric Barkley, in this one. All right, let's take a look now at the standings. Remember, conference play just about to commence in early January.
Yeah, I mean, you can't tell. I mean, everybody plays a different quality of schedule. Very hard to tell by records how good the teams are right now. But, you know, what I like is I just think, you know, just about every program in our league right now is really sitting there with some good young talent, some good coaching, and I think the league's really been reborn. I mean, we have another chance like last year to really go out and be the top conference in the country.
A short break, some final thoughts on the Kevin Bannon Show coming right up. Four games for the Scarlet Knights before Big East Conference play. What do you look to accomplish?
Well, you want to keep getting better, and you want to try to get as many quality non-league wins as you can, because that's very important when it comes to it at the end of the year. So just try to keep getting better and go out there, and we play a bunch of games on neutral courts. Go out there and be composed and go after it.
Good luck, Coach.
Thanks, Bruce.
See you next week on the Kevin Bannon Show. Against Elon College, Dahntay Jones continued his torrid three-point shooting. Rutgers up 42-39 at the half. In the second, Jeff Greer buries a trifecta. He led all scorers with 19. And then Todd Billett sets up Joel Salvi for the two-handed jam. The Scarlet Knights improved to 7-2 with an 11-point win.
Rutgers had a shot to do that last night, but the Scarlet Knights came up woefully short against 8th-ranked Florida. I mean, this was an embarrassingly one-sided basketball game. Florida's full-court press rattled young Todd Billett. There were turnovers, there were three-pointers raining from the sky, and slam dunks raining home. RU wound up losing that game by 20. The good news last night came courtesy
at the Rutgers Athletic Center, home of the Scarlet Knights, and we're inside the Rutgers locker room, where battle plans are laid for upcoming games in the video room, and where the history of the program is openly displayed with mementos and memorabilia. 7-3, right on cue. The Holiday Festival is next for RU. Hi, everybody. I'm Bruce Beck. Welcome to the Kevin Bannon Show. Yes, it's the ECAC Holiday Festival, the great tradition, and Rutgers looking to finish 99 with a bang. Coach Kevin Bannon, it is a local flavor type tournament this year, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the Holiday Festival, when we think back, I mean, some great teams from all around the country, but I think this is special. You've got 4 teams from 4 different conferences, all, I think, playing pretty good basketball, and I think it makes for an exciting tournament.
And it comes at an important time of year for you and your ball club.
It sure does. I mean, I'm not in love with the way we've played the last couple of games, but, you know, we put that behind us. The kids have a few days off, and I think it's a great opportunity for us to get some momentum going.
Well, that's ahead, but right now let's go back and pick up the Scarlet Knights in action against Florida in the Jimmy V Classic. That's a good ball club you faced.
Well, it sure is. I mean, they're 8th now in the country, and they'll probably be in the top 5 before it's all said and done.
But you were in this ball game in the first half.
Yeah, I think we started well, did a good job against their pressure, got some easy baskets there. Todd Billett finds Rashad in transition, and I thought our kids really got off to a good start. We just weren't able to keep it going.
Kent had 11 points and 6 rebounds.
Yeah, Rashad was good. Foul trouble held him back a little bit, but he showed he can play with just about anybody when he gets in there around the basket.
The pressure came all night. This time he broke it.
Yeah, Lou Flores does a super job with Mike Thompson. Guys on our bench actually gave us some good minutes, and you know, most of the first half we handled the pressure quite well.
How good is this freshman, Mike Miller?
He's a big-time player. I mean, if people don't know him now, they're going to know him for a long time. He's a lottery pick in the future. Can play inside, can play outside. Just a terrific player.
Todd Billett buries the 3, cuts the lead to 22-18.
Yeah, right there, I thought we were really in good shape, and how we closed out the half had a lot to do with the game, and unfortunately, they were able to take that up to 10.
Billett hits another 3, 27-21 in favor of the Gators, and RU facing pressure, and from time to time, just getting through it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, if you can get through that first line of pressure, you're going to get some easy baskets, and I thought our kids did that very well in the first half.
Here's a mini run keyed by Kenyon Weeks.
Yeah, that's their veteran scorer, and the kid's a terrific player, and I think he's a key guy for them because they have so much youth on their team.
38-28 at the half, Florida. Second half, all Gators.
Yeah, they came out. We really thought the start of the second half was really huge, and unfortunately for us, we turned it over and lost our composure a little bit.
They have so much balance. 6 guys in double figures. Everyone contributes. Here, a nice little hook shot by Donnell Harvey.
Harvey's a great freshman, and here they run the lob play on the out of bounds. It just they just don't have a lot of weaknesses.
Harvey with a jam on the inside. Florida on a 22-7 run, but your kids did not quit.
No, we didn't quit, but I was very disappointed. I mean, that losing our poise for the extended period of time, you know you're not going to get back in the game against a tough team like this. But hey, you learn and you move on.
Final score in this one, 85-65. Florida shot 52% from the field. They won the Battle of the Boards 36-29, 16 Rutgers turnovers.
Yeah, well, the turnovers kill you because they're going to take those and they're going to get open threes or dunks off of those turnovers.
All right, let's go back to Saturday at the rack against Elon, the Fighting Christians. This was a battle.
Yeah, I mean, Elon's a team that when you tell your team about them, they probably don't respect them the way they should, but they earned our respect. They're a good team and very well coached.
Jeff Greer, a career-high 19.
Jeff played a great game. What I like about it was at both ends of the court. He hit threes, he rebounded, really played a great floor game for us.
Clint Walker, 14 points, 7 rebounds, along with the lead 8 minutes in.
Yeah, they were scrappy. I mean, I think that they really caught us off guard, and you know, I've been a little disappointed lately with not being able to get off to good starts and play well, and you know, we struggled with this team most of the night.
Todd Billett was terrific, 16 points, 8 assists, 3 steals, and now Salvi to Flores to Greer. You got to like that kind of play.
Yeah, that's when we're at our best, getting out in transition, and Jeff Greer and Dahntay in the open court.
Dennis George with the layup for Elon. He had 11 points and 6 rebounds. That was their last lead.
Yeah, that was it. I mean, we got it going a little bit. Lou Flores has really been playing well off the bench for us.
And he's a guy who led New York City in scoring last year, so we know he can fuel it up.
He just has great instincts, you know, can make a three, gets to the rim. He's somebody who's really going to see a lot of time for us.
Dahntay Jones pulls up and hits the J.
He's been hitting that three. I mean, he's second in the Big East right now and shooting the three-point shot, and that's a great development for him.
Here's Mike Thompson contributing.
Well, he's another guy that I think the more minutes Thompson and Flores get, the better and better they're going to play for us.
You like the fact that you had 7 players getting at least 8 in this ball game?
Well, I think that's important. You know, as we move on in the Big East, we know we're going to have our share of foul trouble, and we're going to need good bench play.
And here's one of our past guests on the show, Joel Salvi with the jam.
Well, that's a nice play. Todd's penetration, you know, we want to see that from Todd. He's such a good shooter. Sometimes I think he doesn't understand why we need him to penetrate.
Rutgers goes up by 11 midway through the second half, and all of a sudden, you kind of controlled the game.
Yeah, I think we got it to a point where our guys really, you know, kept the pressure on them and kept a nice, comfortable lead. But it took a while, and they deserve a lot of credit for that.
Off the rebound here, some good work on the boards. And Rutgers comes away with the victory. A little enthusiasm. You like to see that. 89-78. You won the battle of the boards 41-32, and you shot a sizzling 65% from the field in the second half.
Yeah, that's key. You don't want anyone coming into your gym getting too much of a comfort level. And I think once we solved a few of their things, we came out in the second half and really took our level of play up quite a bit.
You know, another number, 22 assists. That's meaningful.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I think Todd Billett, a lot of that had to do with Todd Billett's penetration and getting people easy baskets.
All right, look at some of the key guys that have contributed for the Scarlet Knights over the past couple of ball games. Billett playing with more confidence all the time.
Yeah, those are great numbers for him. Shooting 50%, 12 points, and almost 7 assists a game. I'll take that all year from Todd.
Greer on fire.
Yeah, he's our captain, and he's been shooting the ball better, but what I like about him, he's playing at both ends of the court, not just a shooter.
6'9" freshman Kareem Wright from Philly.
Well, you need to see this 10 rebounds in about, I think it was 15 minutes of play. The kid's really done a great job.
All right, so you're getting some contributions from people that maybe you weren't looking for, and that's meaningful down the road.
Yeah, when you get close to Big East time, you know, you need all your players to be hitting on all cylinders, and I think right now our bench is playing well, and we do feel like we're a team that can go at least 9 deep.
A short break. We'll look ahead to the upcoming ball game with Hofstra in the ECAC and much more coming up. Stay with us. And Coach, when you come off a ball game like you did against Florida where you didn't play real well, do you do what Jim Fossil of the Giants did against the Rams and just throw the tapes out, tell the guys not to watch it?
I'd like to, but I think when you have a veteran team, you can do things like that. But as young as we are, I think they need to see themselves a little bit and understand where the mistakes were made and avoid them in the future.
You think you'll learn more in that approach?
Yeah, well, I think it depends again on your team. I think, you know, being young, you need to do that a lot.
All right, well, the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers getting ready for the upcoming game. But first, we want to spend some time on Bannon's breakdown. And in the Florida game, you did some good things against the press.
Yeah, unfortunately, we didn't do it enough. But I think that the players were where they should be, and it's just a matter of, you know, being composed and making the right plays. And, you know, you can see that they run a three-quarter court, that they were more successful than their full court. And right here, right off the bat, there's 2 people chasing Todd Billett, so you know you've got to get it away from the pressure. And then you've got to get the ball advanced. And Lou Flores does a real good job of getting it advanced and just throwing it away. Now you've got basically a 3-on-2 here. And give the ball up and see what presents itself because they're kind of scrambling. So Lou he finds Mike Thompson in the corner. Mike draws an instant trap. And he does a good job of throwing it out of the trap. And then Lou finds Rashad Kent. And we get an easy basket out of this. But you see how hard Florida plays and how they're covering up, and they just do a wonderful job of getting back on defense. But right here, Lou does a great job of dropping a bounce pass down for Rashad and taking advantage of the fact that they were able to, that they were going into a scramble.
It looks like you always have a triangle set up there where everyone can make a pass.
Well, you want to know that where your teammates are at all times because they're big, they've got long arms, and so you want to know that you're going to have a teammate in different positions, and you just got to find the right one.
Why can't you do that every time?
Yeah, well, it looks great on the highlight tape, but it's difficult. Again, it's difficult because Florida is very good at playing that style.
So next for the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers, the ECAC Holiday Festival, a tournament with a lot of local flavors we mentioned earlier. Last year, Hofstra was the champion, beating Penn in one of their greatest wins ever. 4 teams, Hofstra, Siena, Rutgers, and Fordham. First round games being played on Monday. Rutgers against Hofstra, early game 6 o'clock, MSG Network. The late game that night is Siena against Fordham. And the championship game will be played Tuesday, December 28th. Jay Wright's club is good.
They're very good. I mean, all their defeats come to big-time programs. This is a team that probably has a chance to be the best that's ever worn a Hofstra uniform. That's how much I feel, how strongly I feel about that.
This guy's very consistent, Norman Richardson, and this next guy is super. Craig Speedy Claxton, a Naismith Award candidate.
Absolutely. Fantastic player, averaging over 20 points a game, close to 7 assists a game. He's jet quick, shoots threes. I mean, there's no weaknesses. This is a kid that has a real chance to be an NBA star.
70 points in his last 2 ball games. Roberto Gittins gets the job done, averaging about 9 points and 6 boards.
Well, he's a typical Hofstra player. They've got a bunch of guys that can shoot and go inside and finish. They know their roles. They go deep in and their bench, I mean, they're a very impressive bunch.
Jason Hernandez, the junior guard, who can also score points.
He's a tough guy, and he did such a good job for them last year when Claxton went down with an injury. You know, he's another veteran guard, makes big shots, and is a real tough cookie.
And Greg Springfield had 10 blocks against New Mexico State.
I think when you have size like that at Hofstra's level, that makes you special. You get a chance to get some of those blocks and putbacks that a lot of teams at that level don't have a chance to get. And that's why I think this team is an NCAA caliber team.
And Kevin talked about the schedule this year. They lost at California, at Vanderbilt, at New Mexico State, and at St. John's. That's not too bad, Coach.
No, and I think Jay did the right thing by putting that type of schedule together, because it's going to pay off for them. When they get into league play, they're going to be ready, and I think they're going to be obviously highly successful. And he's thinking postseason. Now you might see some of those teams again, and you're going to be ready to beat them.
So the natural question, what are the keys to this ball game, Coach?
Well, I think the biggest key is getting Claxton under control. He's a great guard at any level, and we've got to contain him.
All right, what about number 2?
Well, their whole team has a lot of guys that are very, very scoring-minded, very good off the dribble. We've got to play terrific team defense, defend, dribble penetration.
And you're going to see some of that same trapping stuff, huh?
Yeah, I think they do a good job with not letting you run your offense and letting kids have to make plays, and we have to just do a good job with their trapping defense.
All right, up next, we'll get the jackets back on, and we'll talk to Todd Kowalczyk, the assistant coach of the Scarlet Knights. More coming up in just a moment during this holiday season. Stay with us.
Snowing and blowing up bushels of fun. Now the
Welcome back to the Kevin Bannon Show. You know, when you talk about Kevin Bannon, you talk about Todd Kowalczyk. The two have been together for 8 years at Rider and at Rutgers, and Todd joins us now on the program. Todd, you guys almost not even have to communicate because you're on the same page about everything?
Yeah, when you get together that long, a lot of times I know exactly what he likes and what he doesn't like, and it's very easy for me to know what my next step would be.
Do you guys disagree at all?
Oh, absolutely. You know, there's no difference. I mean, we have arguments and we disagree about a lot of things, but I think that's healthy in this situation.
Kev, how valuable for you is it to have a guy who you can trust, who's been with you, and kind of is going the same way you're going?
Yeah, I mean, 8 years in this business is a lifetime.
Yes,
it says something about Todd and about our relationship. I think it's, you know, he's definitely, you know, my right arm. I mean, he really knows what I'm looking for, and I think we have similar philosophies. But as Todd said, he also is his own man, and he's going to speak up on things that he thinks the team needs, or, you know, a recruit that maybe I didn't like the first time, he wants me to go back and see. I mean, those are all things that are pretty healthy for the program.
And obviously you guys shop at the same men's store. Now, as far as the big men are concerned, Todd has spent a lot of time over the last few years working with the Rutgers big guys, and you've seen a lot of progress from them. What are some of the things you try to impart to them in terms of wisdom, in terms of technique?
I really try to have our guys keep the game as simple as possible. Their receiver shot, Kent is trying to, you know, outwork his guy for position. If we can catch the ball as close to the basket as possible, obviously we'll be at a great advantage.
How quicker is Kent this year, and how much better is he?
Oh, I really think that his weight loss has been great for him. He's much quicker, he's more athletic, and he's done a great job just, you know, increasing his skill level.
All right, let's take a look at the Todd Kowalczyk coaching file. He's been a guy who's been around in college basketball, even though he's young. He worked at Rider and the University of Minnesota Duluth, the University of New Hampshire, St. Anselm. He's a graduate of the University of Minnesota Duluth, where he excelled in both academics and athletics. Do you talk to the guys about the importance of that, to be able to achieve both things?
We talk to our recruits about that from the first time we meet them and talk to them, just how important it is to get a college degree and just prepare yourself for future success.
Kevin, how good of a recruiter is Todd, and why would he end up as a guy that people are always talking about in that regard?
Well, I think he's a great recruiter. I mean, the young players that we've brought in the last couple of years are a testimony to Todd's hard work. But I think the great thing about Todd is not is he just a great recruiter, he's ready to be a head coach. And I think a lot of times in this business people get hung up on being good recruiters. They lose the other aspects of, I think, being a well-rounded coach, being an educator, being good on the court, being good with the administration and the faculty, and he's got all those qualities and will definitely be a head coach soon.
You feel good about what you accomplished with guys like Eric Clark and Rob Hodgson, how you helped them maybe get to the next level with a lot of work?
Well, I think that's what we're in it for, is to help guys progress through their career, and not only that, but just off the floor, just try to be better people too.
All right, what are your thoughts quickly on this team? And because it's young, do you think it'll continue to grow? Have we just touched the iceberg?
Oh, we're a young team. You know, we're starting 2 freshmen and 2 sophomores and a junior. That, you know, might be the youngest team in the country. you know, I think if we can just keep these guys together and just focus and try to get better and gel as a team, you know, we're going to be very good in the future.
Thanks for joining us, Coach, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you, Bruce.
All right, right now, time for our MonsterSlam.com Monster Slam of the Week. And Kevin, this guy has been dominating this year, Joel Salvi.
Well, we love his energy, and you know, another guy that Todd Kowalczyk has a lot to do with his offensive improvement. He always defended, he always rebounded, and now Todd's really helped him with his inside game. He's a very quick jumper and athletic, and it's good to see the improvement.
That's the Monster Slam of the Week, brought to you by MonsterSlam.com. I'd like to see him make a 20-footer, by the way, one of these weeks, too.
He's a better shooter than you think, Mr. Beck. I'm telling you, he's a better shooter.
I'm not critiquing his outside shooting. I'm just saying we always highlight his jams. We'll take a break. We'll look ahead to the Big East and our Scarlet Spotlight. Spotlight is on Todd Billett, another Billett. Stay with us.
The Christmas tree at the Christmas party hop. Mistletoe hop.
Welcome back to the Kevin Bannon Show. I'm Bruce Beck, and it is time for the Scarlet Spotlight once again this week, which is brought to you by the Rutgers Court Club. Here's Todd Billett.
Hi, I'm Todd Billett. I'm a freshman here at Rutgers, 6-foot guard, and I'm from Middletown, New Jersey.
They've opened this up now to a 9-point margin. Billett, another three. I tell you, Billett saying, hey, I can match these guards. Guard for guard, baby.
I chose to come to Rutgers University first and foremost because of the coaching staff. I established a great relationship with Coach Bannon, and then secondly, just the basketball situation here is tremendous with the Big East Conference and the playing situation, and then thirdly, the academic reputation of the school is one of the best schools that I was recruited by. We're just going to be a fun team to watch. Hopefully we're going to get up and down and really play an up-tempo style, get after people. I'll play a lot of guys. We've got a lot of talent, a lot of depth at each spot, so we're going to be fun to watch. I'm coming from Jersey. I like my Jersey guy, Bruce. I tend to stay away from the dining hall and go down to Pizza Hut or go down to the Student Center where they have different pizza places, so that's always been one thing I really liked. He's an ex-player himself, and it's very interesting when you're playing for an ex-player because he can relate to situations that you're going through, especially because he was a college guard, and that's my position, so you kind of have a special relationship with him because as a point guard, you have to be on the same page with the coach, so and having him play that, it's a great experience to learn under him.
I guess it'll be 8 straight years that a Billett will be controlling the backcourt for the Scarlet Knights.
And we're pretty lucky because they're a special family, and I can't say enough about Todd. The poor guy's getting thrown in the fire, but if anyone can handle it, he can handle it. He's a terrific talent, a bright guy, fun guy to coach, and he's just going to have a monster career.
Time right now to go around the Big East. It's brought to you by New Jersey Transit. We catch up on what's going on with the conference. North Carolina jumped on the Hurricanes early and then held on down the stretch. North Carolina led most of the way, and at one point by as many as 16, paced by Jason Capel, who scored 20 points and grabbed 11 rebounds. The retreat. Down by 13 at the half. Miami fought back. Johnny Hemsley scored 15 of his 21 points in the second half to pull the Canes within 5 late in the ball game. But the Tar Heels were able to hold on for their 8th straight victory of the season. Monday, the Seton Hall Pirates bombed the Cadets. Freshman Sam Dallenberg scored 12 points and pulled down 7 rebounds, while sophomore Darius Lane continued his outstanding play. Lane, the Pirates' leading scorer, knocked in 18 points to help Seton Hall to their 6th win of the season, 77-56 over the Black Knights of Army. Wednesday, Mike Jarvis was making a list and checking it twice. His Red Storm club should expect something special in their Christmas stockings after their 12-point win over Hofstra, especially forward Anthony Glover. All he did was score a career-high 35 points on 12 for 12 shooting from the field. The Red Storm improved to 7-2. And that's Around the Big East, brought to you by New Jersey Transit. And now we get to conference play in January. Can you believe it?
No, I can't believe it's here. I mean, I think it's going to be another great race in the Big East. I think there's a lot of good young players, and we have our top 10 programs. I really think Syracuse is terrific, and we all know how good UConn is.
The standings are brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. A short break, much more coming up on the Kevin Bannon Show. I know it's only December, but Coach Bannon, this might be the biggest game of the season for your program going up against Hofstra.
Well, this game and this tournament are very important to us. Your non-league schedule really says a lot about where you're going to go at the end of the year, and we have confidence that we can do well in the league. But out of the league, you got to win as many of these as you can win.
How many times this year you think I'm going to say it's the most important game of the season? By the way, the contributions continue from Tucker Anthony, $50 for every 3-point made by the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers. Thus far this season, 61. Coach, you got Jones with 20, Billett with 20, and Greer with 18.
Yeah, I think we're one of the best outside shooting teams in our league, and they don't not only make a lot, they make them at a high frequency. So it's a nice perimeter group.
What are you doing for Christmas?
Hosting 43 people
Come
at my
on.
house. Yeah. 43.
How many ball players?
Hopefully lots. I got 18 nieces and nephews going to be in the house.
Enjoy and have a wonderful holiday.
Thank you.
That's it for the Kevin Bannon Show. We'll see you next week, everybody. Inside the Lewis Brown Athletic Center in Piscataway, where the Scarlet Knights will be busy this month looking to post some quality wins. Hi, everybody. I'm Bruce Beck. Welcome to the Kevin Bannon Show. It is time for the Big East Wars. Rutgers with 7 games in this month against quality Big East competition. 4 of those games will be at the rack, 1 at Madison Square Garden. And, Kevin, do I sound like a coach when I say you've got to be ready every night when you play against the Big East team?
No, wait. It sounds like me. Every day I tell our guys, this is one tough league. And we learned the hard way going up to Syracuse. I mean, you have to have your A game for 40 minutes, not 35 minutes, if you want to win in this league.
And preparation is a key. You know, we talk about it for all different aspects of life, but in basketball, you got to always be prepared for a quality opponent.
Well, there's no question about it. I think you've got great coaches in this league, you've got terrific talent, and sometimes the preparation can separate teams. So you really have to, with me, I have a very young team, and they have to learn how to get prepared. It's your only chance to overachieve at times.
Scarlet Knights of Rutgers opened up conference play against the Orangemen of Syracuse on Wednesday night. Rutgers going into this ball game trying to get something going against a team that was undefeated and ranked 7th and 8th in the nation. And, Coach, I thought it was a terrific ball game. Great shooting from both clubs.
Yeah, and I like the way we started. I was very concerned with my young team going up to the Dome, playing an undefeated and 7th-ranked Syracuse team. I thought we got off to a nice start. Right there, Kareem Wright gets us a putback. I mean, Kareem's his first start in a Rutgers uniform, and very aggressive. Salvi gets to the rim there. I mean, that's really what we wanted from our team early in the game.
And Salvi almost had a double-double, 13 points, 9 boards. Todd Billett hits the jumper. We're tied at 13.
Yeah, I thought, again, our guys did a good job getting out in transition. There's a big-time block by Dahntay, but this is what hurt us. They are such a good team. They always found the shooters, and their bench was 5 for 8 from 3 in the first half.
You know, they made open threes. Every time you had a defensive breakdown, they took advantage of it.
Yep, and they run well, and they find open threes even out of transition.
Well, Rutgers did have a brief lead, 27-26, but back come the Orange. This is to Sean Williams, a 3-point field goal.
Yeah, he came off the bench and hit 2 big ones in the first half, and Jeff Greer had a great night for us as well from deep.
Rutgers cut into the lead just before halftime. It's 42-37 at the break. You're on the road. You got to feel pretty good.
Yeah, I thought it was a good effort in the first half. Again, I liked our comfort level. And in the second half, we started well right there. Again, Kareem Wright with a nice little jump hook.
And now Greer outside to Billett for the 3, and you pull within 2, 50-48.
Well, that was huge. I mean, it was getting away from us a little bit, and I thought we responded real well.
This kid Shumpert, as you said, big game, 3-point field goal. A matter of fact, there was a plethora of threes in this game.
It takes your heart out. I mean, you're playing good defense, and they swing it around, and then there was just they just made some huge shots.
Greer finished 4 for 6 from downtown. I thought, Kent, you got him into the flow in the second half. He wasn't in foul trouble.
Yeah, that was important. You know, he sat the first half, and we really thought for us to have any chance, he had to score around the basket, and he did that.
Syracuse on a 9-0 run here late. Tony Bland with the layup. Then Rutgers tried to stay close again, and you go back inside to Kent.
Yep. You know, if we get the minutes out of Rashad, he's one of the most productive low-post players in the league. It's all about minutes. He has to learn how to stay out of the foul trouble.
And Salvi always with that little extra effort helping to make things happen.
He had a great game, very close to a double-double. He was very active, and you know, I couldn't have been happier with him.
Eton Thomas, no points in the first half, 17 in the second. Here he triggers a fast break, and I'll tell you, this ball club, they didn't play well early, but they shot extremely well. When you look at a 53% shooting percentage for a game, that's good.
I thought our kids played good defense and did all the right things, but it was only a matter of time. When they got out off some block shots and some of our turnovers, they can really score in bunches.
16 turnovers hurt you. They committed only 7, and they had 13 steals.
Yeah, they were very aggressive. You know, they play now they play a lot more man. You know, they used to play almost exclusively 2-3 zone. Whatever they play it very, very well.
Can we get philosophical here for a moment? When you go up there early in the season, you're playing a top 10 team and you play well, do you come back and say, hey, we can play anywhere on the road?
Well, I think you have to. You know, when you have 17 games left in the Big East, you can't walk away from an effort like this and not point out just the positives. We've got to show ourselves how well we played in stretches, but we've got to emphasize how you've got to do it for a whole game.
Jeff Greer was sharp in this ball game, 4 for 6 from downtown. He finished with 16 points. Rutgers also got good productivity from Joel Salvi. He ended up with 13 points and 9 boards, almost a double-double.
That was huge. I mean, we have no chance of survival there. Joel really was a big presence for us.
And Rashad Kent finishing the night with 12 and 8 after really doing nothing in the first half.
He had limited minutes. I think Rashad only played 22 minutes last night, so good numbers. And the key with him, again, is getting him his minutes. He's got to learn to play defense without the silly fouls.
How tough is it against the ball club that brings a guy off the bench who can bury the 3?
Well, that's why they're an elite program. They actually went to their bench and got better. And you know you have a great program when you're able to do those type of things.
All right, we'll take a short break. More coming up on the Kevin Bannon Show. We'll look ahead to the upcoming game with Providence. And, of course, we'll have Bannon's breakdown. I know all of you are waiting for that. We'll be right back. Scarlet Knights of Rutgers now 8-5 on the season, but a very competitive schedule in the days ahead. And, Coach, it's time for your breakdown where we look at a play and kind of dissect it a bit. And this is a little bit of a high-low situation with lots of options for the ball players.
Yeah, I mean, this is a situation where we're playing against the Syracuse zone, which is one of the best zones, I think, in the country. And you have to solve the problem. And most people would think that the way to solve the problem is make outside shots, but you have to have a good balance of outside shooting and inside play. And this is just a play where we sort of balance up against the zone and try to fill the gaps. So everybody kind of gets the zone spread out, and you can see their 2-3, which they really push out on you. And what we want to do is we want to get Eton Thomas, the best shot blocker probably in our league, to come out and guard Joel Salvi, who can make that little jump shot. We get him to do that, and then we get Rashad Kent to slam in and post up a little bit. It's something you prepare for all week long, and you know, it's nice to see the kids execute it. So Salvi does a good job of throwing over the top, and there's no help there. By the time the help gets there, it's a dunk for Rashad. So it's a well-executed look and very necessary because, again, you can't just make jump shots. You've got to get some inside presence against zones.
I think you guys are so much better when you get Kent into the flow the way you did in that second half of the ball game.
Yeah, that's, you know, when we play at our highest level, and most teams, you have to have the balance. And with us, we're a very good three-point shooting team, but sometimes it's a fault. We've got to have the balance of inside-outside.
So coming up next for the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers will be the Providence Friars at the Rack, and that ball game will be Wednesday. So you get a little bit of a time off to regroup, and that game is at Wednesday at 7 p.m. at the Rack. Coach of the Providence Friars, Tim Walsh, in his second season.
Yeah, well, the thing about Providence is they've had a lot of injury. They've added a great transfer midway through the year. So we're going to see the real Providence team come next Wednesday.
Well, this kid, Aaron Maxey, has been the real deal this year. He's having a wonderful season.
He's been really great as far as being consistent. He scores in a variety of ways, very active on the glass, runs the court. He's really emerging as a great player.
John Linehan led the conference in steals last year. He's quick.
He's a tough little guy who really picks you up full court and can really create havoc.
And when you look at the rest of their club, I mean, they've got lots of players, lots of bodies. They press, they use the bench, and that's what Providence is all about.
Yeah, they're young, and they're going to play a lot of players, and they're going to be, you know, tenacious the whole game. They're going to get out after you, and they're just going to hope that you lose your composure.
8 newcomers this year with those 3 starters gone, including Jamel Thomas. But they've got a young man by the name of Kareem Shabazz, and their whole team has changed with this guy. He's 7'2", a transfer from Florida State, so you're going to see a totally different ball club.
Exactly. I mean, they're a much different team than played in November and December. When you add a 7'2" center that can block shots and score around the basket, it gives you a whole different dimension. So they're a very impressive team now.
All right, let's get to your keys, brought to you by And One. And when you look at keys for this game, I know you're concerned with the press, but what else is on your mind, Coach?
Well, you have to attack pressure. I mean, they're going to extend and show you different looks, but they're also going to push the ball. So the next thing you have to do is play good transition defense and get back and don't let them get easy baskets on you. And then again, they have a very, very good transfer in Shabazz, and we've got to try to keep his game under control. I mean, he's only played a couple of games. He's had a couple of 20-point, rebound, double-double type situations. He's a tough player, so those are what we have to do.
All right, they also have to get a good game from Jeff Greer. When we come back, we'll talk to the young man from Washington Heights. Stay with us on the Kevin Bannon Show.
Hey, welcome back.
Welcome back to the Kevin Bannon Show. Joining us now is Jeff Greer, who is a captain. Yes, a captain in just his junior year. And Greer right now on a pretty good roll. 6 consecutive games in double figures, 11 of his last 13. Jeff, nice to have you with us.
It's a pleasure to be here.
You know, you rarely hear that term, captain, associated with a guy who's an underclassman. What did it mean to you?
It was a great feeling knowing that Coach Bannon had that faith in me to assign me the captain, and the team as well, having that faith and looking up to me as being a junior, not a senior, and just having me show him the way this year.
Each year you've continued to grow, not only as an individual, but as far as productivity in the basketball court. Do you feel good about the stretch you're on right now?
Yeah, I feel good. I mean, there's stuff that I can do better, but right now I'm just trying to lead the team and have the team just look at me and look what they have to do in the upcoming games to be successful in Big East.
Kevin, how about his three-point shooting this year? 41%, 24 for 58.
Well, he's improved a lot of areas of his game, but I think he's really improved the range on his shot, and he's consistently shooting the 3 better. He had his moments in the first 2 years, but this year, just about every game, he's really knocked down some big threes.
What does it mean to you to be from Washington Heights? I mean, there's so much tradition up there. You got the Manny Ramirez. You got so many names of athletes who have done well. I mean, do you take a lot of pride in that?
Yeah, I take a lot of pride. I mean, you have Manny, as you said, Sammy, and Felipe Lopez, he has a house down there also. And, I mean, when you go back in the summertime and you see other people come back and to visit and stuff like that, it's a lot of pride in playing some of the tournaments. It's very, very, very proud of it.
You know a lot of these guys?
Yeah.
He doesn't know. He claims he knows everybody in Washington Heights. They may know him, but I don't know if he knows everyone.
They know how to play hoops, Coach, and you know there's something about the area. There's a strong Dominican population, and they come out and they're so supportive when he plays, especially when they go up against Pittsburgh and his brother Ricardo. Is it special when you see those flags in the arena and everybody going nuts?
I mean, I don't know about you. I'll never forget the first time Pitt came to Rutgers. The presence, the Dominican presence, the flags going, and the Ricky and Cholo, his nickname Cholo. There's Ricky Cholo chants going all over the arena. It was really special. I mean, it was fantastic.
Do you feel proud to represent the Dominican community?
Yeah, I feel very proud. I mean, myself and my brother, we always talk about it when we go back and talk about how that first game was a great game and it sent chills through both our bodies and stuff like that. And they keep talking about it back home. They keep saying, well, we're gonna do that this year again, but it hasn't happened yet. Maybe it happened February 26th.
Jeff, you're up to 816 career points. You're just a junior. Where do you need to continue to work on your game?
I think being more aggressive and taking the ball to the basket and getting my teammates involved a little bit more. And, I mean, my shot's going to be there basically all the time because that's what I work on mostly. But just being more aggressive and getting my teammates involved.
Well, Jeff Greer's numbers this year are very impressive. He's second on the team in scoring, averaging 13.6 per ball game, 4.7 boards, 28 steals to lead the Scarlet Knights. Kevin, do you ever tell this guy he needs to be more selfish? He needs to take more upon himself?
There's times when that happens because his personality off the court, he's a very humble, sincere guy. You know, he's kind of a laid-back guy, and the kids really respect him. But all great athletes have to have a different presence when they, step across the lines. And I think sometimes, Jeff has a tendency to be a little bit laid back, and he's got to get after it. He's so gifted that when he applies himself, good things happen.
All right, where is Rutgers headed this season? Give us a little update on the ball club.
I think right now we're a little bit down, but we should bounce back in the next couple of days of practice and having that tough loss against Syracuse. We should come back against Providence and have a great game and just gain some momentum going into the rest of the Big East.
Well, he played for Cardinal Hayes in the fabled Catholic League. Jeff Greer, thanks for joining us. Continued success to you.
Thank you, Bruce.
All right, let's get to the Slam of the Week, the Monster Slam of the Week. Unfortunately, Jeff Greer is not involved in this aspect. It will be another guy who he knows rather well, Rashad Kent. Coach, take it away.
Well, this Rashad, I don't know. Oh, here's the play. Okay, he comes off and gets a little slam off of Joel Salvi's activity bothering the rebounder. So it's always good to see you get active on the glass and look what can happen for you. You get some easy buckets.
This will help your shooting percentage greatly. And I'll tell you, he's slimmer this year, but he's still robust. He's still got the physique, doesn't he?
Oh, he's stronger than last year, but yet he's dropped 25 pounds.
Brought to you by MonsterSlam.com. I'll tell you, he can jump, Greer, and he's pretty tough on the inside. I'd like to see you fill out the same way. We'll take a short break. More coming up on the Kevin Bannon Show. The Scarlet Spotlight is just ahead. Well, it's a big day for Washington Heights. A couple moments ago, you met Jeff Greer, and now you're going to get a chance to meet Luis Flores, who is a freshman, led New York City in scoring just a year ago. It's time for the Scarlet Spotlight, which is brought to you by the Rutgers Court Club. Let's find out more about Luis Flores.
Hi, I'm Luis Flores. I'm a freshman. I'm a 6'2" guard. I'm from Washington Heights, playing here at Rutgers University. There are a lot of reasons why I decided to come to Rutgers. One of them would be because of the coaching staff. I feel as though Coach Bannon is a great coach. I feel that the staff around Coach Bannon is great, like Coach Danny Hurley. He has helped me a lot. And another reason would be because Jeff Greer, he's here, and we just great friends back home from Washington Heights. I just spend it with my grandmother. I mean, she has been everything to me. She has been everywhere for me. So my free time, whenever I can, I mean, I only live 35 minutes away. So any chance I can, I'll just go up and visit my grandmother. Well, my favorite food would have to be rice, beans, and steak. My favorite kind of music would have to be hip-hop, because I really like Noriega. I feel as though he's one of the greatest hip-hop artists that are out there right now. To play for Coach Bannon, well, first off, you have to be mentally strong. When he screams at you, you got to understand that he's doing it to help you as a person and as an athlete. If you just listen and go all out and work hard, you will get a lot of benefits out of it.
Well, he averaged 35 points per game in high school. Will he be a scorer sometime in the future?
Oh, absolutely. He's a kid that can shoot deep threes, but is also terrific at taking the ball to the basket. You know, unfortunately for Lou, he's going through that usual up and down that freshmen have, and lost his confidence a little bit, but we got to keep throwing him out there because there's some real bright moments ahead.
All right, there was an abbreviated schedule during the holidays as far as the Big East was concerned, but conference action now underway, and that's our focus in this edition of Around the Big East, brought to you by New Jersey Transit. Monday, St. John stormed the Pittsburgh Panthers in the first 20 minutes of the game. Led by Eric Barkley, who scored 14 first-half points, the Red Storm started the game on a 26-4 run over the first 11.5 minutes. Barkley finished the night with 25. 4 other St. John's players scored in double figures. The Red Storm opened up a 45-14 halftime lead, and they cruised in their first Big East game of the season. The final score, 82-58. In East Rutherford, Shaheen Holloway scored 16 points, added 10 assists and 8 rebounds to pace the Pirates in their first conference game. Sophomore Darius Lane poured in 21 to spark the Pirates, who shot 8 for 19 from downtown. The Hall led by 10 at the half, then exploded to start the second and pushed their lead to as many as 22 with just under 13 minutes to play. Seton Hall improved to 9-2. Villanova dropped to 6-4. The Irish came out fighting in Connecticut. Troy Murphy scored 34. He also had 16 boards to lead the Irish. Khalid El Amin did his best to keep the Huskies in the ball game. He had 34 on the night, and this basket cut the margin to 3 with 42 seconds left. But in the end, it was the Irish who came away with the 75-70 victory, snapping UConn's 10-game winning streak. Wow, talk about a shocker. I know the game was in Hartford, but still to get a win on the road, that's impressive, especially against number 2 in the nation.
It sure is. I mean, that's beating UConn is a tough task as it is. To do it in Hartford is amazing, and hats off to the Notre Dame team.
As we go to break, take a look at the Big East standings, which are brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. Stay with us. We'll be right back. 3-point shooting this year, the Scarlet Knights have done very well. You're at 40% for the season. You have to be pleased.
Very pleased. We're one of the top in 3-point shooting teams in our league, and it's a big part of our arsenal.
And don't forget that Tucker Anthony pledges money to the university, to the General Scholarship Fund, $50 per 3, and thus far this year the Scarlet Knights have buried 78. So a good cause, and you're doing a good job making those buckets. All right, let's focus on the upcoming game. It's the Providence Friars. This is probably an important stretch for you. 4 games at home against conference opposition. You got to win these games.
Absolutely. It's so hard to win on the road. You've got to take care of business at home. And, you know, right now I'm happy we have a little time to prepare, but this is a 4-game home stretch starting with a tough Providence team where we've got to take care of business and put ourselves in a good position.
So a good opportunity for you this weekend to maybe tee it up, play some golf, relax a little bit. What's on the menu?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll just be vegging out on that couch. Oh, yeah, right. We're going to be practicing 2-a-days because the kids aren't in school right now, and you may as well get them up and get to work.
And what about on the personal note? Will you actually spend some time with the family?
My son's birthday this week. Happy birthday, Tommy. Turned 7, and we got the party this weekend.
What kind of party?
A little go to the ice rink. I just hope I come away with no injuries.
Oh, that is a very serious dilemma for you to try to skate and get through this party. We wish you the best of luck. And as far as next week goes, hey, get back to work, and you got to start off this Big East slate pretty strong, huh?
Yeah, thanks, Bruce. Yep.
All right, that's it for the Kevin Bannon Show. For the coach, I'm Bruce Beck. We're here every week, and we look forward to previewing and reviewing all the action involving the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers. January, Big East Conference action. We'll be with you throughout the way. Have a good night, everybody. Camped out in the Rutgers locker room, where spirits soared after their first Big East Conference victory of the 21st century. A win over Providence on Wednesday night. Rutgers looking to get on a roll at the rack. Hi, everybody. I'm Bruce Beck. Welcome to the Kevin Bannon Show. January in Piscataway. Personally, I'd rather be in Maui. But the Scarlet Knights are excited about this recent stretch. 4 games to get things going here in January and perhaps to build some momentum. And Kevin, heck of a way to start this homestand.
Well, Bruce, it's always great to get your first Big East Conference win, and we did it in a hard-fought way with a real scrappy Providence team. We dug out a win, got the crowd involved. It was a great night.
Man, this game was never over, was it?
No, you know when they play their team, they do a great job of changing defenses, and we went after each other pretty good. Lots of lead changes, lots of runs, but our kids really, were resilient and came through in the end.
All right, let's go back to Wednesday night. Rutgers taking on Providence here at the rack. And as I mentioned to Kevin, you never knew if this game was going to be over or if it was over. Very competitive from beginning to end.
Yeah, the nice thing, we got off to a real nice start, and I thought that gave our guys some confidence. Got the ball inside early, which I always think is important. And we're very active defensively early, as you can see here with Jeff Greer getting the run out.
So the Scarlet Knights are up by a score of 4-0. Another steal here by Greer. When you play this well defensively early, does it set the tone?
Definitely. That's the way you want to start a ball game, particularly when somebody comes on your court. And it's great. Not only are we playing defense, but we're getting some easy baskets out of the defense.
Nice to see Billet here go all the way.
That's the next step he has to take. He's such a good jump shooter, and he gets everyone else involved, but you want him to be a little more selfish getting to the rim.
Rutgers 4 for 11 from downtown, and again, that's a big part of your arsenal.
Definitely. I think we're one of the better outside shooting teams in the league, and we're very unselfish. We made the extra pass, and it really paid off.
How about Greer's numbers? 13 points, 4 steals, 4 rebounds, 3 assists.
That's what you want from a guy. He's one of our most experienced players, and he was all over the court.
Renardo Brown, he's not talking about going pro now, is he?
Nardo's so good to see. He's a kid that struggled early, and he's just playing with confidence now, and that's really what it's all about.
Rutgers up by a score of 27-17 at Joel Salvi, a very solid ball game, but Providence wasn't through by any stretch of the imagination. Here's a tip-in by Aaron Maxine at the half. It's 34-30, Coach.
Well, you have to give them credit. I thought we really had a chance to put them away or get a much more comfortable lead, and they made a terrific run down the last couple minutes of the half.
And then they take the lead early in the second.
Yeah, they made some adjustments. They're a well-coached team, and they made some adjustments to our trapping defense, knocked down some shots, and all of a sudden we find ourselves in a war.
Kent picks up his 4th foul, but you respond in a big way. Jeff Greer with a hoop and 1.
Yeah, well, again, Jeff was probably the star of the game, played at both ends of the court, was very active.
Billet nails the 3. It's 45-43. And then Dahntay Jones with the basket and a foul.
Hey, Dahntay was in foul trouble all night, but boy, when he was in there, he had a chance to do some special things, and he really responded.
And here's some great defense again. Greer going all the way for the bucket. The Scarlet Knights, I think that might have been the biggest basket of the game. It was 56-50 at that point.
Yeah, I think, Jeff Greer just has a way of finding the ball, seeing things instinctively, and last night he had about 4 of those pickoffs that led to easy baskets.
So you made a lot of key plays down the stretch here and some good decision-making also.
Absolutely. I thought we played with a lot more offensive confidence than we have in a while. And we played at both ends of the court, and I think most importantly, we had very good bench play.
Look at this defensive presence. You did a great job with Kareem Shabazz. He finished with no points in 30 minutes. And at the free throw line, you guys were outstanding at one stretch of the second half. I think you made 13 in a row.
Yeah, I mean, Shabazz Shabazz is a guy that was averaging a double-double, so the great team effort to hold him scoreless, and then to get up on the line. You want to make those foul shots anywhere, but certainly at home you want to put people away when you have a chance.
And Rutgers did just that. The final score is 71-61. You got 28 bench points. That's meaningful.
We need that. When you get into the Big East schedule and you start playing every 2-3 days, you gotta go 8-9 deep, and I think right now we feel pretty comfortable doing that.
There were a lot of positive stats in this ball game, such as your free throw shooting, but I think more than anything else, it was your defense. You held this team to less than 40% shooting from the field. You did a good job in their big man, and you always say it starts with D.
Definitely, and when somebody comes into your house, you want to really be active and really want to get after them, and I thought we took them out of their offensive flow, and we didn't let them get Shabazz involved at all night long, and that really helped us.
Hey, 5 guys were in double figures for the Scarlet Knights. Jeff Greer leading the way, and we talked about his complete effort.
That's what you want to see, because he is a guy that can hit threes, get to the rim, can guard the best player on the other team. He does a great job for us.
Joel Salvi contributing all season long, doing a lot of different things, points, rebounds, and steals. And this guy I know you're really happy about, Renardo Brown, who just came off the bench and gave you a lot of solid play.
Yep, that's what we want from Renardo. Just go out there and try to get the ball distributed, get it up the court against pressure, and he's probably our best on-the-ball defender. So the best is yet to come from Renardo, and no, he's not going into the NBA draft.
Coming up next, a look at the Mountaineers and the Irish as things heat up in Big East Conference play. Stick around.
Baseline jumper is good. Marcus There's Murphy along the baseline.
When you isolate him, things work, and that's part of this Bannon's breakdown today.
Yeah, you've got to have a balance of inside and outside scoring, and what you'll see here is early in the game we try to make a concerted effort to get the ball inside out of our motion offense. So spacing's important, and then trying to get Rashad in an advantageous situation, and we do right there by getting him space. We have a little cross screen by Jeff Greer, small to big, so they can't switch it. And then some nice movement and balance in our offense. And then Rashad has to do the rest, and certainly Dahntay has to do a good job of leading him with a bounce pass. So right here you'll see Dahntay take the ball and swing it, throw the ball away from the defense, which is very important. And then Rashad has all the room in the world to finish with the dunk.
And he's got the strength to get himself a good position down there.
Well, that's it. You know, I think the other kids have done their job by occupying their players. Dahntay's done his job by giving him a good bounce pass away from the defense. And Rashad's done his job by holding off his man in a legal fashion, and he gets to the rim.
No push-off, Coach. I saw that left hand a little bit, but you want him using his body. I remember years ago, Dave DeBuscher used to tell me, you know, grab the guy's shorts a little bit. You got to tug, you got to pull a little bit inside.
There's none of that nonsense in our program. There's no grabbing shorts or any of that stuff, okay?
Not anymore.
It's all legal.
All right, let's look ahead to the upcoming slate for the Scarlet Knights. West Virginia is next, right here at the Rack. That's Saturday at 2 o'clock, and you can see the ball game on WWOR-TV at 2 p.m. And West Virginia, coached by Gail Catlett, he's been around for 28 years.
He does a great job with his team. You know it's going to be much like a Providence game. They like chaos, they press, they show you different defenses, they're athletic. So we got ourselves another war on our hands.
Marcus Goree, he's a good one.
He sure is. He's one of the best big men in the league and can step out and score. Very active around the basket, legitimate pro prospect.
14 points, 9 boards per game. Meanwhile, Lionel Armstead, sophomore guard, 18 threes to lead the way.
He's really stepped up for their program, and it makes a big difference. When they get outside shooting to go with their inside athleticism, they're a dangerous team.
And Brooks Berry can shoot the 3 as well. The other guy you really have to focus on is Calvin Bowman, 10.7 points, 5.9 boards.
Yeah, Calvin's a guy that is a New York kid, came to West Virginia from JUCO, and very talented kid, and really starting to play with confidence for them.
They've lost to Miami, St. John's, and Syracuse back to back to back, but that is a rugged schedule. And right now, the Mountaineers trying to get things going. They lost 3 in a row after winning 4 in a row. Off that ball game, it'll be the Notre Dame Fighting Irish coming into the Rack. This ball club is red hot right now, and with a hot young coach named Matt Doherty.
They're doing a great job. I mean, Matt's come in there and put in a great system for his talent. They used the best player in the league, in my opinion, Troy Murphy, in a great way. And they're just hitting on all cylinders. Some teams just do that early, and they certainly are right now. They've had some great wins, and they're a dangerous team.
The former Del Barton Stars averaging 25.1 points, 10.9 rebounds, 6 games of 30 or more.
Incredible. I mean, he's a great player. Troy can go out there and hit the 3, scores around the basket. He's terrific.
And I think he's really got a lock on Big East Player of the Week honors. They also have David Graves, sophomore forward. He's averaging 13.9. He's got 34 threes. And what about freshman guard Matt Carroll doing a good job?
Very solid player, a great recruit for Notre Dame. Fits in with their guys very, very well. And they have a real nice team. They run their stuff very, very well. They have a nice combination of outside shooting, and then you can isolate Murphy, and tough team to play against.
And they've got a Philadelphia young man from Archbishop Carroll and Martin Inglesby, and Harold Swanigan, the sophomore forward, who's also averaging almost 6 points and 5 rebounds. Kevin, they've won 7 in a row. They won at UConn and at Ohio State. They lost at Arizona, at Maryland, at Indiana. This is a vastly improved ball club.
There's no question about it. As I said, I think Matt's done a wonderful job. Great system for them. They're running it well. They hit on all cylinders probably quicker. Maybe Syracuse is the only team that's been able to get off to that kind of start. Seton Hall certainly has done a great job as well. So they can beat anybody. They've already shown it.
Kevin's Keys are brought to you by And One Apparel. Let's begin with West Virginia.
Well, we got to do a good job. Very athletic and active front court with Gorey and Bowman. So that's the first thing we've got to do right out of the gate. Next thing we've got to do is try to get them to play us in a sloppy fashion. They're coming into our gym, much like Providence, get some points off of their turnovers. And then basically attack their pressure, again, like Providence. We know they're going to do a lot of things to try to get us to lose composure, attack, get some easy baskets.
And for the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame, I guess it begins with Murphy, doesn't it?
Well, pay attention to Murphy. I think that would be a pretty good idea. He's only the best guy in the league and maybe a lottery pick, so we better pay attention to him. And then after that, I think you've got to get out on their shooters. They're really shooting the ball well and executing well. And then finally, against them, you've got to execute our half-court sets because they're playing very, very good defense at this time.
All right, so it's an interesting slate here. You know, you've got a couple of teams that probably are better in their own building, but Notre Dame can win on the road, and West Virginia always dangerous with their pressure.
Yeah, this is an important stretch for us. Our kids know that. You know, no matter who our opponents are, we feel this is a really important segment of our season. We've got to play with confidence at home, and everybody's got to kind of grow up a little bit and take the next step, and I think our kids are poised to do that.
All right, coming up next, the Dean of the Hardwood. Stay with us. If I were still a student and I have no eligibility remaining, I'd want this guy as my dean. Carl Kirshner, he's the dean of Rutgers College. He's also the chair of the Academic Oversight Committee for Intercollegiate Athletics. And nice to have you with us, Dean.
Thanks, Bruce. Good to see you again.
Good to see you. The whole concept here is the interface of academics and athletics. How does it come together?
Well, at Rutgers, we really believe that student athletes are students first. They live with other students who are not athletes. They eat with other students. We expect of them the same things we expect of students who are not athletes, of students who also have some other responsibilities like leadership. And as a result, we work to support them because, in fact, they are giving up 3 hours a day, almost every day of their free time. So we work to support them with academic support.
You've got great stuff in place now. I saw earlier today the computer labs, stuff that's out there to help equip these students and give them a chance like every other student.
Sure, there are computing hubs located all over the Rutgers campuses in New Brunswick and Piscataway. We have a brand new one, grand opening this weekend up here in the rack, and it was a gift of a former football player here, an alum, Mark Hirshhorn, and it's a wonderful place for student athletes to go when their time is limited and work on their schoolwork.
What about the new students, the guys that come in here to play this year? What about their transition?
Well, it's difficult making a transition either from high school to college or even from junior college on to college. It takes a while. Some make it better than others.
I think, you know, the great thing is that we have a program in place working with Dean Kirshner's office, but we have the academic support system where we have Dr. Mike Mahan, we have a personal counselor, Walter Holliday, who's in charge of our players, and we work very well together and try to give the fellows the type of support that they have, particularly the new players early on when they're making that transition.
You know, I'm impressed with the maturity and professionalism of a lot of these players this year. Are they doing well academically? Are they a focus group, in your opinion?
This is a very strong group of serious character. I think in part it tells the priorities of the coaching staff and Coach Bannon to bring in young men who are serious. They're all in academic good standing. They're all on line to graduate. And I guess that's one of the ways that you have success when an athletic department or a coaching staff can communicate well with the academic side of the house. If they're separate enterprises, it doesn't work.
Kevin, this is really a team concept, though. It's not just the dean talking to your players. It's your coaching staff. It's everyone uniting as a group, isn't it?
Yeah, we all have a responsibility in this. We recruit these players, and they come here, and we want to see them, you know, live up to the expectations and be very successful here and beyond. And so that's what I like about this place. I think everybody's really on the same page, and we're all there to help each other, and we're working together. The coaches, right through the dean's office. I mean, everybody does a great job.
Yeah, and taking as an example, Todd Billett, who comes in as a point guard and has to run a new offense. He had a spectacular fall semester, made the dean's list, and expect great things from him, both obviously on the court, from the coach, and in the classroom.
Dean, what about leadership, internships, research, how these opportunities come about for all students here at Rutgers?
Sure. Rutgers is a major comprehensive research university, and it has everything for everyone. So there are internships available. I was speaking with someone here before who was Kevin McConnell, who was looking to see a student about an internship. There are internships in part because the New York-Philadelphia corridor has so many Rutgers alumni that are willing to place students. So they're involved in internships, they're involved in research opportunities. You may know, Bruce, that perhaps the best or the most respected researcher in the world on spinal cord injuries is right here at Rutgers, Christopher Reeves, physician. And students leave the classroom and go to work with them in the research labs. Anything and everything is available.
All right, now you know why I want him as a dean, you know, Kev?
And
Makes
also,
sense.
You're available for internships. Joel Salvi wants to get into the communications field.
Absolutely. If he cuts his hair, I'll get him a job right away.
Okay. Well,
no, that guy is always welcome. He's got a lot of personality.
Also a serious young man.
He's terrific. Yeah. Thanks for joining us, Dean.
Thank you, Bruce. Good seeing you.
All right, let's focus now on our dunk of the week, and it's brought to you by MonsterSlam.com. MonsterSlam.com is your online superstore for Rutgers merchandise. And Kevin, it's back to Mr. Greer.
Well, it's great to score off your defense like this and get a breakaway dunk. It's got to be a great feeling. And Jeff's activity on defense leads to a highlight film dunk, and very inspirational.
You know, you talk about baskets that are important for a game, and sometimes we'll pick a key bucket. But do these dunks really provide a little bit of extra incentive, or do they get the team razzed up a little bit more than maybe a 22-footer?
There's no question about it. The crowd gets involved, the players get excited, and I think it's, you know, it's all part of the game. And like I said, when you score off your defense, it's demoralizing for the offense, and it really gets everybody excited in the arena, and the kids get really juiced up about it. So.
Obviously, you and I don't have the experience to throw up.
I'm not talking from experience. Possibly Dean Kirshner has, but we don't have that experience. Thank you.
All right, coming up next, we'll go around the Big East and get you caught up to date on what's going on in conference play. Stay with us. Big East, overtime games, last-second shots. Time for a look back. We go around the Big East, and it's brought to you by New Jersey Transit. Saturday, Craig Escher ex-Hoyas hosted a barn burner in the nation's capital. Shaheen Holloway had 14 points and 7 assists. None were bigger than this one to Gary Saunders with under a minute to play that sent the game into OT. 2 minutes into the extra session, the Hoyas' Kevin Braswell helped Georgetown to a 4-point lead with this nice move in the lane. But Holloway would not be outdone. This 3-point play cut the Hoyas' lead to 1 with just over a minute to play. Darius Lane only had 8 points, but these two gave the Pirates a 63-62 lead with 45 seconds left. The Hoyas missed a couple of golden opportunities late, and the Hall held on for a 3-point win in OT. Elsewhere, the Friars and Eagles battled back and forth all day long, but with just about 5 minutes to play, Providence opened up a 10-point lead and seemed destined for a W. It didn't happen. Troy Bell scored 9 of his game-high 28 in the final 146, including a couple of huge three-pointers to lift Boston College. The Eagles come from behind to ink their first conference win by 5. Sunday, there were more dramatics in Philadelphia. Villanova scored 11 straight to build a 60-49 lead with 5:13 to go against Big Five rival Penn. However, the Quakers' Michael Jordan scored 5 straight points to keep Penn close, and then Matt Langle nailed a long three-pointer to knot the game at 65 with just 14 seconds to play. But Malik Allen hit a short baseline shot with just 0.8 of a second to go to give the Wildcats the dramatic victory, 67-65. 65. Monday, the Huskies used a late first-half run and an 8-2 burst to start the second to dispose of the Texas Longhorns. Albert Morey scored 21 to lead the Huskies, who improved to 51-1 against non-conference opponents at the Hartford Civic Center. Meanwhile, back in New York, Eric Barkley had 22 points and 6 assists to lead St. John's over the Hoyas. LeVar Postel added 17 for the Red Storm as they moved to 3-0 in conference play. Kevin, you gotta always be ready. A lot of barn burners, huh?
It's wide open, and the Big East season is here. I mean, and right down to the wire. Very little separates the teams in this conference, and it's going to be one heck of a year.
Well, I'll tell you, there are crucial stretches in a basketball season, and this is one of them for the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers. They need some wins at home. Rutgers started a 4-game Big East homestand on a positive note with a win against Providence on Wednesday night. It's a stretch that could turn out to be extremely crucial for the Scarlet Knights.
These games coming up, they're going to be big for the rest of our year. You know, we got home games, and we're going to have to come out and play each team like we're going to have to win them. You know, they're going to be coming out to get us just like we're going to be coming to get them.
This home stretch is very important. I think anytime you want to be a good Big East basketball team, you got to protect your home court, and you got to win your home games. And we have an opportunity to beat some teams at home here and really get on the roll.
Under Kevin Bannon at home, the Scarlet Knights are 25-11 overall, 13-5 in conference games. Rutgers is hoping to use the atmosphere inside the rack to their advantage.
It definitely does have an impact because, in my opinion, we have the best fans in the country, and when the rack starts rocking, it's really loud, and it definitely plays a factor in the outcome of the game.
Well, there's no question the rack has the best home court atmosphere in the Big East, and we use it as an advantage to our guys. I think the fans and the students really get our players fired up to play, and also can be an intimidation factor for the opposing team.
They try to make it as tough as possible. You know, they're always yelling, screaming, getting on the opposing coach, getting on the opposing team members. But I mean, it helps us out. You know, when the crowd's in it and we're in it, you know, it gives us an advantage.
Home court advantage alone won't be nearly enough. The Scarlet Knights know that execution and preparation will be among the keys to success.
It all starts in practice. We got to have good practices before the next couple games and really prepare for a couple Big East wins. It's important that we got to prepare for each game and just really take one game at a time.
Play confident on offense. Defensively, we need to just keep up the intensity and try to make the offense do some of the things that they don't want to do and just play with a lot more confidence that we've been playing in the last couple of games.
Three-pointer. Home could be the Pennsylvania Turnpike or the Indiana Early Morning Dew. You need to establish home court, especially now, right?
Yeah, I think with the young team, the first step is to feel like they can beat anybody on their home turf, and then you move on from there, and we need to establish that in the next week or two.
Lyrics from Billy Joel, by the way. Okay. As we go to break, a look at the Big East standings, some final thoughts coming up in a moment. Coach, you had a nice win, but it's back to work, right?
Absolutely. You know, one win does not a season make. We've got to keep working, keep getting better, and hold that home court advantage.
Good luck to you, Coach.
Thanks, Bruce.
See you next week, everybody, on The Kevin Bannon Show.